welcome into the Rose Hill studio. My name is Brendan Shorey, and I am joined today by Kurt Sipple. Kurt, quite a game we have here today with the Fordham Rams paying a visit to the Richmond Spiders. Fordham comes in second to last in the A10, 11-13 overall with a 3-8 conference record. They lost their last game to Dayton. Richmond comes into this one 8-17 overall, 3-9 in the conference, and last place in the A10, dropping their last two games. Kurt, looking at Fordham's last game against Dayton, what exactly are you looking for Fordham to come in and try to do today to get the win?
Well, against Dayton, we saw them play a really good first half of basketball. Fordham was keeping it close. They got it tied at the end, 48-48. The defense might not have really been there for both teams at that time, but they didn't stay in it. One thing that Fordham always has to do when they want to play these harder opponents, especially in the A10, because a lot of these opponents are really tough and won't stop the entire game, is you got to go all 60 minutes. And Fordham, they didn't seem like they were going that against Dayton. And today it's just about playing a complete game of basketball.
A big part of that complete game is going to be the rebound battle. Fordham has not been great at rebounding the ball this season, especially on the defensive side, giving up a ton of offensive rebounds. Richmond comes in, and that is one of their strengths. They are great at rebounding on the defensive side, and they do not give up many offensive rebounds. Kurt, how impactful is winning the rebound battle going to be today?
Well, that's just in basketball in general, and something that we've heard Keith Ergo talk about all season is getting second chance shots. If you're putting up more shots, more likely if you're putting the ball in the hands of guys like Jackie Johnson, if you're getting it more to Josh Rivera, they're going to score. You got to get more shots up and be able to score the basketball. That's something that you got to hope to do, and that all comes down to the offensive rebound and the defensive rebound by getting up the floor and pushing as fast as possible to try to get those rebounds, as well as kicking it back out on the offensive side and trying to get those shots up more. That's just what Fordham has to focus on, and that's a brand of basketball that they've been trying to focus on all year.
And you got to think about it more than just points-wise. It's demoralizing when you force a tough shot and the team that takes that tough shot crashes the boards, gets an offensive rebound, kicks it out, wide open three, bang, and now it's another 3-point swing in the span of 5 seconds where you originally thought you're rebounding the ball and going down the court, and now the opposite happens. So rebounds, a big part of the game. Another big part for both of these teams today, the turnover battle. Neither team forces a lot of turnovers. That is something to look for today, but that is going to do it for us here from the Rose Hill studio. Lou, and Chaz, we'll send it right back to you guys.
It's Saturday night in the A10. The Robins Center in Richmond, Virginia hosts our matchup between the 11-13 Fordham Rams and the 8-17 Richmond Spiders. Lou Orlando on the call for Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports. Kendrick Lamar's love takes you into this one, and no place I'd rather spend my Valentine's Day weekend than with my broadcast partner, Chaz McAdams, as they honor Neskovich and White with a 1,000-point ceremony right now on the court. We'll take a quick silence and just listen. Well, as they play the music, I think we can talk through this a little bit. Chaz, a lot of people are calling this the pillow fight. Fordham in 14th, Richmond in 15th, the two bottom feeders in the A10. For these two teams, they're not looking at it as a pillow fight.
Absolutely not. This is everything for both of these teams. We talked about in the A10, there's that top bracket, the bottom, and then there's the middle mush. It's got about almost 10 teams in it. We're almost talking double digit of teams that could go anywhere come seeding time for the A10 tournament down in the nation's capital. So this is everything for both of these teams. While A10 talk, the national media, even A10 fans nationwide may not be looking at this game, for both of these teams, these programs, this game is everything.
It's a spectacular arena here in Richmond, Virginia, the spacious Robins Center. And at the Robins Center right now, honoring B. Artis White and Dusan Meskovich, two members of the Richmond Spiders, celebrating achieving the milestone of 1,000 career points. We saw that on the Fordham side just a couple games ago. Jackie Johnson, and then against Dayton, Jaffe Medora surpasses the 1,000 career milestone. A big moment for two crucial guards on the Fordham team, and now a big moment for two crucial members of the Richmond Spiders.
Yeah, I mean, both these squads, again, storied A10 teams. When you think Atlantic 10 basketball, obviously here at FUV we think Fordham, but I think the Richmond Spiders are right in there. They're one of those nice teams that you go down south to see. Always a great arena. We're here at the Robins Center. It's a great group here, a really dedicated fan base, a school that likes to respect their sports teams, and the fans come in tow. It's a fantastic program, and they're honoring a duo of fantastic players that have kind of defined this era of the A10 as it comes to an end.
Two classic A10 programs, two programs that have not hit the ground fast and running at all. Richmond 3-9 in A10 play, Fordham 3-8. We'll take a quick break as they do the anthem here at the Robins Center. We'll throw it to our conversation yesterday with head coach Keith Urgo.
Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams with Fordham men's basketball head coach Keith Urgo ahead of tomorrow's game against Richmond. Coach, you've had a chance to look at the tape against the Dayton game, just the main takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we did a fantastic job in a number of areas. Obviously, you know, when you score 48 points in the first half, where we kind of struggled a little bit was Coach Grant was smart. He did his platoon system to make sure some of his top guys could finish out the game. And unfortunately, we didn't make that platoon system fail, right? They were able to keep the game at 48-48 at half. We needed to be up double digits. And when you score 48 points and you play offense like that, we should have been up 10-15, and that would have created a totally different situation for us. But, you know, in the second half, you got to give credit where credit's due, right? You pick and choose your battles based off of personnel. And Malachi Smith was one of those guys that, you know, we wanted to take more shots than a Santos, than a Bennett. Same thing with Posh Alexander. Even though we knew Posh Alexander had gone 2 for 2 in his previous 2 games, he still had only made 7 on the year. Malachi had made less than 1 a game on the year. So those were the guys we wanted shooting. Unfortunately, they hit some big shots at the end of the shot clock, and then we got worn down. You know, we had 8 guys. Ryan Pettis had the flu, wasn't on the bench, and our guys did get worn down a little bit. We got foul trouble early in the first half, and then we had a little bit in the second half. But they did a good job. They made the plays when they needed to make, and then we kind of got a little bit exhausted and gave up some huge offensive rebounds. I thought the key of the game was those 2 offensive goaltending calls going against us with the 3-second shot clock and us fouling the three-point shooter. The game went from 70 to 66. It was 72-64, and then Santos gets fouled on the 3. That was a huge 6-point swing, and unfortunately, we never seemed to recover from that.
Coach, probably Richmond, one of the only teams in the Atlantic 10 without a real star big that they run a lot of 5-out offense. Yeah. What can we see from you matchups wise? Maybe some Rivera or Tripp action at the 5 spot?
Yeah, I mean, we'll mix some lineups up, but Waltz is actually their 5-man. He's big, strong. He just had 20 against Loyola Chicago. He's had 20 last couple. He's playing his best basketball of his career. So him at the 5 spot, he's big, he's strong, he's a scorer out of the post, he's a really good passer. So we got to be careful with that. But when we do get to their bench, you know, we like some of our favorable matchups.
You look at Richmond in the A10 schedule, they've only lost by 10 twice, so I know there's a lot of losses. Do you think they're trickier than the record says?
Chris Moody's been coach of the year. They won the league plenty of times since he's been there. He's an unbelievable coach. They run a Princeton style. Richmond's going to be packed. It's a phenomenal facility, great fan base. There's nobody in the Atlantic 10, us included, that anybody is free of a tough physical battle every night. And Richmond's no different. They got big-time players that we know. We've played a couple of them when they were on their previous teams since they transferred. And Coach Mooney's fantastic. And so we got to be as good as we've been all season long.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Go Rams.
Well, you heard in the words of Keith Urgo, there's no one in the A10 that's free of a tough physical battle, and that certainly holds true for these two teams, the Fordham Rams, the Richmond Spiders, as we get set for our 6:07 p.m. tip-off from the Robins Center. We'll introduce the starting lineups first. On the Fordham side, it's the same one for now, a 10th straight game. Jaffe Medor, Jackie Johnson, Zach Riley, Ramon Dean, and Abdou Timbila. And Chaz, when we look at this Fordham starting lineup, it's hard not to pinpoint Jaffe Medor and Jackie Johnson, who it feels like are starting to play their best basketball of the year.
I mean, that backcourt is so deadly. You have Jaffe Medor, the facilitator, the captain, the guy with the ball in his hands, the man in the arena, the guy that when you know he has the ball in his hands, there's a sense of safety. There's a sense of comfortability on the court. He's such a skilled and knowledgeable basketball player that you know that Jaffe Medor can get the job done for your basketball club. Then, on the other side, Jackie Johnson III, the spark plug, the fire to Jaffe's ice, the player that when a shot goes up, whether it's from 20, 30, 40 feet out, there's a chance it goes in, and you know he's going to pull it. An electric guy, underrated defender, so strong. Both guys, a lot of players try to attack in pick and roll switches and have a very tough time because despite their stature, they are two of the strongest point guards I've ever seen on a basketball court.
On the case of Jackie Johnson, it's 3 straight games, 20-plus points. He's shooting the ball better than he ever has all season long, and that's saying a lot for Medor. The keys to the offense are in his hands, and that's made a world of difference. We look at a Richmond Spiders starting lineup as Richmond looking to get back on the right side of things. They're still feeling the loss of their starting guard, Delani Hunt, fractured his foot against George Mason on January 8th. Since that injury, they are 1-8. They're trying to put together the pieces. The starting lineup tonight is the 5'10" sophomore Mikkel Tyne from Toronto, the 5'10" graduate guard B. Artis White, just celebrated scoring 1,000 career points. At the 3 is the 6'5" Jason Roach. At the 4, watch out for this guy, Dusan Neskovich, their leading scorer since Delani Hunt went down. And at the 5, you heard Coach Urgo talk about him a bit. Mike Wall, 6'11" from Pennsylvania, coming off a career-high 20-point game. Chaz, it feels like Fordham at times this season has struggled against bigs. Richmond has a pair of good ones.
They do. Neskovich is an absolute demon on the court. He blazes past defenders. The way he's able to use his size and stature mixed with his speed and agility is some of the best in the Atlantic 10 Conference. There's not a guy on the court like Neskovich in the Atlantic 10. Such a unique player. And then Walls is such a, I want to call him a beast because when I see him down low, especially watch him in the dunker spot. I talked about them going 5 out with Coach Keith Urgo, but they mix it up with a little 4 out, similar to a lot of Villanova action that we saw back in the day. Great players that play for a great coach in Mooney. This is going to be a barn burner.
When you talk about 5-0, we'll dive into this a little bit more. Mike Walls, their center, he can shoot.
He can shoot the rock.
Doesn't take it a ton, but 50% in the year, 26 attempts. All set for tip-off here from the Robbins Center. It's Fordham in all maroon with white text. For Richmond, it's white with navy spiders across the chest. Ball goes up, it's batted back into the hands of Jackie Johnson. Fordham ball, we're underway. Lob down low, ripped away from Ramon Dean. The dive by Richmond, but it's out of bounds, stays with Fordham.
And that is the play that Coach Keith Urgo runs every single time when he wins a tip-off. Jackie gets the ball to Jaffe, a cutting Romadine at the basket. Sometimes it's a lob, sometimes he plays off 2 and kicks out, but if Fordham wins the tip, it's that play 10 times out of 10.
Zach Riley, baseline inbound, short corner for Timbila, backs his way into the paint, guarded by Walls. Timbila kicks out for Johnson, left wing. He drives, the floater rolls out, rebound by Neskovich. Fordham empty on their first possession. Richmond controls, Artis Way at the top, swings it left elbow, extended for Walls. Back up top to Roche, wearing a black mask to cover his nose. Walls, left elbow extended, works on Timbila. Enters the paint, fades away, and it rolls out on the 14-footer.
Fordham's going to look to play with some pace here.
Opening 40 seconds. Johnson, top of the key. Timbila stands at the free throw line. Rest of the players around the arc. It's Timbila up top. Fakes the handoff, now gives it to Riley on the near side. Riley double teamed, looking for an outlet. Swings it cross court to Dean, left wing. Back out Riley, swings it right for Johnson. 5 on the shot clock. Johnson's shot bounces out, and Richmond ball. Minute down, no score yet from the Robbins Center. Handoff to Roche, swings it across to White. Straight on for Walls. Walls drives, guarded by Timbila, fades away again, and it's no good off left iron again. Slow start for the man that scored a career-high 20 points against Loyola Chicago in overtime on Tuesday. Timbila top of the key, unguarded. Corner for Ahmadine, contested three, it's too strong. And a half, both sides trading missed shots so far. Time controls up top, the bounce to Walls as the offense running through him early. Walls on the far short corner, posts up Timbila, enters the paint, fades away, righty hook gets off left iron. Dean the rebound up to Johnson. It's three early missed shots for Walls.
And we have yet to have seen a shot at the rim. All the shots, low jump hooks, deep in the paint, or wide threes. These guys aren't attacking the rim a lot this game so far. We'll see if that changes.
Mador off the handoff, bounces inside for Timbila. Back out Riley, open left wing three, it's off right iron. Dean offensive rebound, finds Riley down low, floater no good. Timbila offensive rebound to the paint for Dean, bounce it in. Off the backboard, draws the foul.
That's what we like to see. Zach Riley able to be that space out there. Abdul Timbila not giving up on the play. He grabs it, he's fading out of bounds. Romad Dean able to grab it back and then lay it in for the and one potential three-point play for the Fordham Rams.
Richmond, one of the worst rebounding teams in the A-10. It's been an ugly game so far, but how about two offensive rebounds in that sequence? Fordham gets it done dirty.
Absolutely. There's no way that you can tell me this Fordham team didn't look at that stat as Richmond as one of the worst rebounding teams in the Atlantic 10 and didn't think, let's make that a point of emphasis today. We know we have the guys and we have the motors to play hard, strong basketball at the rim, and we're going to do that.
Full court press from Johnson and Mador. Richmond will break. 3-0 Fordham, 17-30 in the first half. Miskovich, left wing for Time. Time steps inside three, moves it back out to White. His three blocked by Timbila. Mador picks it up, bounces short corner for Timbila. It's off his hand and out of bounds. And early turnover for the Fordham Rams. Chaz, you think about that Dayton game, it ends up being a 93-76 loss at the Rose Hill Gym. Turnovers came back to bite the Rams.
Absolutely, and the game at half was tied. Again, it's about playing, Thurgo says it all the time, 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. That's what Fordham needs to play today if they want to escape Richmond with a W.
Richmond ball after the turnover. Fordham had 15 turnovers last time out to Dayton 6. You can be sure that was a big difference in that one, would end up being a lopsided loss. Foul on the floor going against Matt Zona, freshly checked in alongside Josh Rivera.
Off the ball, Matt Zona just looking to get some position there. The ref didn't like it.
They wipe the baseline inbound. Fordham ahead 3-0, opening 3 minutes. Bounce inside, Walls loses the handle. Fordham in transition. 2-on-1, Johnson lays it in. Fordham ahead 5-0.
A little up fake there too. Jaffe was running with him. That is a duo that has built so much chemistry as conference play has ticked on, and that is the key to their success.
Richmond still looking for their first points of the night as we're 3.5 minutes in. Time, catch and shoot three, it's short. Josh Rivera picks it up in the left block. Mador gives it back to Josh Rivera on top of the key. Fordham looking to expand this lead offensively. Johnson left wing, straight on Zona, pulls from three and hits. And that'll force the timeout from Chris Mooney. Fordham an 8-0 run to kick this one off. Maybe not the start that Fordham dreamed up in the opening minute, a couple early misses, but they get going early. It's an 8-0 lead.
The kid from Rockland County at the top of the key, right in his sweet spot. Coke butter, that was sweet. Sweeter than sugar, Lou Orlando. 8-0 Rams up. That's massive.
16-16 in the first period. The reigning A-10 Coach of the Year, Chris Mooney, will call a timeout, and we'll take a break. Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams. It's Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM. What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
I'm Nick Guzman.
And I'm Chaz McAdams.
We're your broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball.
Led by Jackie Johnson, Keith Urgo's Rams are looking to make waves in the 100th anniversary season at the Rose Hill Gym.
We've got you covered for the highs, the lows, the X's and O's as Fordham takes on the gauntlet of the A-10.
Don't miss a game. 90.7 FM WFUV is the home of Fordham men's basketball.
It's Fordham 8, Richmond nothing. 16-16 into the first half. 16-16 left in the first half. And Fordham a hot start. Chaz, if they're going to do anything this year, we touched on it briefly in the open, it's going to have to be led by Jaffe Medora and Jackie Johnson. They've clearly emerged as the two stars leading this team.
And again, I say this, Jackie Johnson, one of his criticisms, and as well as Jaffe Medora last year, and in non-conference play, efficiency was the issue. The shots were going up, the shots were skilled, but the shots just weren't going in. Jackie Johnson is playing the most efficient basketball of his career in this last 3 or 4 game stretch for the Rams. Jaffe Medora is playing his best defensive basketball in his career in this last 3 or 4 game stretch. They are making each other better. They're greater than the sum of their parts. They're one of my favorite duos in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Jackie Johnson makes Jaffe better. Jaffe makes Jackie better. They are so good. They're fire and ice. That's why I called it. Jackie's the fire, Jaffe's the ice. I love it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the improved efficiency from Jackie Johnson. He's been up over 40% field goal the entire season. He takes a high volume of shots. The last 3 games, averaging 23 points a game, 52% from the field, 50 from beyond the arc. If he can do that for an extended period of time with the volume that he's doing it at, he's going to be the A-10's leading scorer when it's all said and done.
Exactly. Well, he was the A-10's leading scorer when he was shooting at that less than desirable clip. So if you look at the efficiency going up and the volume remains, we have an absolute menace on the court in Jackie Johnson III.
Reed Bailey leads the A-10 right now, even 20 points per game. Jackie's at 18.9. That's good for top 50 in the nation. Time. Top of the key for Ryan Sulis checked into this one. White. One-hand pass over to Neskovic. He drives. Tries to lay it in off the backboard, but the tip by Sulis goes. Neskovic missed the initial drive, and now Ramad Dean is down on the floor, tugging at his left knee, and that's a scary sight for the Fordham Rams.
Non-contact. Coming off a rebound. He's grabbing his high thigh. He's bending the knee. He's trying to put weight on it. It's nothing ankle. Hopefully nothing in the knee. Maybe just a sprain. Something like that. He's limping. Non-contact injury. That's scary. Jameer Tripp checks in.
Ramad Dean, in the words of head coach Keith Urgo, he said he's our most consistent player, one of 2 players in this team that has started every game. It's now 26 straight games started for Ramad Dean. He's been such an integral piece for this roster. He takes a seat with an ugly-looking injury. The sophomore Jameer Tripp will check in. Fordham ahead 8-2, 15-46 first half. Medora hands off deep right wing Johnson. Cross to the left wing for Tripp. Fakes the pass, puts the ball on the floor. He's guarded tightly by Niskovic. Medora lob down low for Rivera. Left block, has it batted away and stolen by Sulis. Strong pressure inside by the Richmond defense. Sulis top of the key, moves it left into the hands of Niskovic. Steps inside, long 2 is off the front of the iron. Jackie Johnson grabs the board, takes it up himself. Rams by 6. Johnson splits a pair of defenders, draws the foul on the reach.
And Josh Rivera losing the ball in that last play. Kind of bobbling a little bit. He had a great seal on White. And then just not able to convert with some points on the board. As Zach Riley checks in, you lose Ramad Dean. You need that defense there. And Auckland, New Zealand brings that for you.
Tripp's baseline pass, miscommunication with Zona. It's intercepted by Mikel Tyne. Tyne drives in, picks up his dribble, bounces it baseline, and it's intercepted by the Rams. Medora spins up the court, goes all the way and lays it in. Coast to coast, Jaffe Medora gets on the board.
Jaffe's ability to control his body mid-air and do those acrobatic moves that we love to see, that are pretty to watch, but they're also good for efficient basketball.
Rams ahead 10-2. It's Sulis left post extended. Resets up top for the masked Jason Roche. Roche off a screen, deep left wing 3. It's no good. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the A-10. Takes a contested look there. Medora coast to coast again. Can't lay it in with the left hand. It's kept here. Medora saves to the corner. Back out to Josh Rivera. Jabs and drives. Hop step. Lays it in with the left hand. Athletic play by Josh Rivera. Second chance point to the Rams.
And the boys had it around the key. It was Tripp to Riley to Rivera, the up fake, the jump stop, play off to lefty, lay off the glass. That is Rams basketball.
A 10-point lead early for the Fordham Rams. Neskovich off a screen, drives inside, puts it in, off the window. 12-4, 13-50 first half. Bulk of Richmond's scoring at this juncture, at this stage of the season, has come from Dusan Neskovich, as they're really feeling the loss of their leading scorer, Delani Hunt. Mador, dribble drive, steps back, the fadeaway, it's good, rolls in. How about Jaffe Mador, a playmaking midi?
He's been fantastic, and so is the Fordham offense. But the defense has to be shored up. That's what lost them the Dayton game. They have to make Richmond pay for these bad shots.
White drives inside, looked like he lost it, but able to lay it in and draw the foul. B. Artist White, I tell you what, he's a new addition to the starting lineup for Richmond. He's been excellent of late. 10.6 points per game, his last 5. That's a pretty nice M1 right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was all contact there. He had the ball shored up like a running back. Shout out Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl last week.
Too soon, Jess.
Yeah, no,
way too soon.
Sorry for the G-men, but he just had it shored up and threw up a prayer, and it happened to roll in. Call it shooter's bouncer, home field advantage. He's at the charity stripe.
He misses the free throw. That is a little bit of a shocking miss. Richmond, the best free throw shooting team in the A-10, 12th in the nation. Good pressure from White. As Mador takes it up and now runs into Zach Riley. Disjuntled start to this offensive set. It's Tripp up top, bounce free throw line for Rivera. Pivots around, hand in his face. Back to the basket, he's double teamed. Kicks out Riley, swings it left for Mador. Open left wing three. It's off right iron. Timbila the offensive rebound. Foul on the floor. Josh Rivera and Jason Roach tumble to the ground, and it's Rivera called for the foul.
The foul was on Timbila. They threw up. The ref just threw up 30.
I'm not sure about that one. Roach and Rivera go to the ground. And an over the back on Abdou Timbila?
I guess so. He wasn't anywhere near the play on that one. And especially with a guy like Timbila, you can't afford any phantom fouls.
Timbila has entered foul trouble more than a few times this season and becomes a theme in the rotations for this Fordham squad. 14-6, Fordham ahead, 12:44 first half. Colin Tanner checks in. It's dealt to Jordan Beagle, the New York native. Hands off for B. Artist White. He's double-teamed by Johnson and Timbila. Neskovich, left wing three, off right iron. Richmond can't buy a bucket right now. Johnson bounces corner for Tripp. One-hand pass to Riley, right wing. Squares up for three. Bounces out. Offensive rebound pulled down by Tripp. Left block, spins around underneath the basket, takes it up, and called for the travel. Spinning around on the pivot foot. Referee said he got a little careless.
You can only keep it anchored for so long, but Jameer Tripp bumped in the restricted area, right in the dunker spot. He's usually good about keeping that pivot. He's got some of the best footwork on this Fordham team, but the refs making him pay. They call the travel.
Rams ahead by 8 as we near the under 12. Neskovich off the feed. Takes the right elbow, two, it wings out.
And they are taking good shots. Neskovich is wide open. He's just not making them.
Now 1 for 5 to start this one. He's been one of their better scorers this season. Tripp resets up top for Rivera. Rips through, spins into the paint, loses it for a moment, gets it back, puts it up, and earns a trip to the line. 11:45 first half, Fordham 14. Richmond 6, and when we come back, it's Josh Rivera going to the line. We send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Madi Dembele, the one-on-one scoreboard update.
A one-on-one scoreboard.
Come along with me, Madi Dembele, as we cycle through the wonderful world of sports. A busy day today indeed. The first ever number 1 and number 2 in SEC history is a nail-biting affair, as the Auburn Tigers hold the slim advantage over the Alabama Crimson Tide, 71-68. Ladies and gentlemen, the A-10 is indeed on fire. Enoch Cheeks and the Flyers defend home court against the visiting Dukes, edging them out by a single point there. 76-75 is going to be your final. Jaden House puts up 16 in a win against Juice Jones Explorers, 86-71. Emphatic. Jalen House and Xavier Brown go to war, but it's ultimately Haynes, 22, that is enough to put his Patriots over St. Joe's, 58-57. NBA All-Star Weekend's underway, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know if you've been watching, but Morehouse holding the slim advantage over Tuskegee there. And, of course, we have All-Star Weekend, the rest of it to ensue. For the wonderful world of sports and for the Sports Scoreboard Update, I am Madi Dembele.
Orlando Chaz McAdams. Well, it has not been a hot start for the Richmond Spiders. 6 points, 3 of 13 from the field. They've yet to hit a shot from deep. Their leading scorer since the injury to Delani Hunt, Dusan Neskovich, just 1 of 5 from the field. This has been a surprising season. Chris Mooney, his 20th season at the helm of Richmond. He's got a proven system that works. It's led them to success. It's led them to 2 A-10 titles. For whatever reason, they just haven't been able to put it together this year.
No, and yeah, again, that defending A-10 title. You're here in the Robins Center. You've got the fans. You got the money. You got the fanfare, and it's just not coming together for you guys this season. And that's really where you see what a coach is about. Because a down year like this shows how you can adjust, how you can make adjustments, and that's all Neskovich. You have a go-to guy in Loam, and then you go in. He's got the injury. He's riding around on a boot. We've seen him. He's still very much involved in the program. Neskovich has been the guy. How Mooney's system works offensively, there's a lot of dribble handoffs at the top of the key. You see a lot of action above the free throw line, but most importantly, he just lets his guys play ball. You see a lot of shots that some people will consider bad shots, some fadeaways, some turnaround jumpers, but that is because Chris Mooney trusts his players. They're Division I athletes. They've been playing basketball their whole lives. They know how the game is played. That level of trust and compassion that Mooney has for his players shows why he's been so successful over his 2 decades at the helm of the Richmond Spiders.
And you talk about Chris Mooney, you're talking about A-10 royalty, the Richmond wins leader for this program, 3rd in A-10 history with 356 wins. You've been any place for 20 years, you're doing something right. Rivera to the line, well short on the first free throw. And I think no one really expected Richmond to follow up a 23-10 season. They were co-regular season champions, fell in the quarterfinals to St. Joe's, but had such a great season, had Jordan King, the co-A-10 player of the year. Lost a lot of talent, had a lot of talent returning though. Rivera makes 1 of 2 on the free throw. The loss to Delani Hunt has really hurt them. It sent them into a spiral.
Absolutely, because the Mooney system, you have to have the guy. And the guy was injured. You talked about Jordan King. He was him for a few years. And now you got to adjust. We'll see what Mooney's made of.
Tynes loses the ball. Stolen by Medor. 2-on-1. Medor across to Johnson. Can't lay it in, but the tip by Timbilla. Good follow-up. Timbilla running right through the paint.
That's what you get when you run 5 guys 94 feet. You play fast, you play loose, you play Fordham basketball.
17-6. Medor leaps the pass again. It's off his fingertips and out of bounds. Medor created the steal to get the Rams back up by 11. Almost at another one.
It looks like the Richmond team is just not used to this Fordham pressure.
Colin Tanner, the high side inbound. It's the hands of Mikel Tyne, who's taken over point guard duties for this team and replacing Delani Hunt. Fordham in the 3-2 zone. Tyne nowhere to go. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Beagle at the free throw line. Back out Tanner left wing. 5 on the shot clock. Tanner drives and lays it in. That's a tough layup by Colin Tanner. Well contested, Chaz.
My gosh.
Johnson, right wing 3. The answer is no good. Timbilla offensive rebound. Squares up in the short corner. Spins around. Resets to Medor with 14 on the shot clock. Medor off the Timbilla screen. Plays at the top of the paint. Free throw line, Jay. Off the heel, Tanner the rebound. Tynes across to Beagle, Hudson Valley native. Hands back off to Tynes. Left wing feed for Tanner. Fakes, kicks out Tynes. Steps back and swings it right for D'Entremont. It's Beagle up top. D'Entremont to the short corner for Jordan Beagle. Beagle bats his way into the paint, short on the hook shot. Fordham the rebound. Johnson controls. Fordham offense slows it down. Clock this under 10 minutes in our first half. Left elbow feed for Tripp. Hand off Johnson, left wing. Johnson dribble drive. Mid-range 2 rolls out. Beagle the rebound.
Maintain composure here. Missed shots can't equal missed opportunities.
Beagle up top, one-hand feed. D'Entremont gets it back on the give and go as Beagle and draws the foul on the right lane drive.
Hands up. I mean, his hands were up, straight up. You hate to see that if you're Jameer Tripp, especially with a good defense there. Jameer Tripp doing a great job of sealing his man off to force Beagle into one-on-one action with Abdou Timbila. And if you're a center in the A-10, that's never a spot you want to be in.
Jonathan Beagle, the 6'10" junior forward, heads to the line, 70.7% shooter on a Richmond team that has been one of the best free throw shooting teams in the nation. They missed their first earlier today. Beagle sinks his first. Zona checks in for Abdou Timbila. I'll tell you what, that was a good first stretch for Abdou Timbila.
Yeah, I mean, he's really coming to his own. We talked about Medor and Johnson kind of stepping up. Abdou Timbila looks like a shell of his former self for a while. He's really stepped up big time. The LaSalle game, the Bonnie's game, he was huge in as well.
Just check the live stats as Beagle missed his second free throw. Timbila has 7 rebounds. There's 9:30 left in the first half. It's Matt Zona in the paint. Blocked by Beagle as he tried to go up with the right hand. Dominant defense by Jonathan Beagle down low, and it'll be last touch by Fordham.
Sure. I couldn't see it from there, but it literally looked like it was right off of Watkins' hands. But nonetheless, Matt Zona needs to work on his inside game a little bit more to take those one-on-one situations. 17-9, Fordham leaves. Tanner drives left lane and lays it in. Set Riley to the ground in the process. 6-point game. Fordham ahead 17-11. 9:05 first half. Medor up top. Bounces to Ramad Dean back in the game. Shovels back for Johnson. Right wing feed Zona. Corner for Jaffe Medor. Pulls from 3. It's off left iron. Riley going to tap it back into the hands of Matt Zona, who draws the foul. That was all Zach Riley coming from the three-point line into the restricted area, tipping the pass to Matt Zona. Now you got one of your best free throw shooters at the charity stripe. You stop the bleeding on the forward run from the Richmond Spiders. This is how you maintain a lead in college basketball. And you figured against this Richmond team that you'd be able to exploit the rebounding. The worst rebounding team in the A-10, the lowest rebounding margin in the A-10. 7 offensive rebounds for Fordham to Richmond's 1. And you're seeing it translate to second chance points, 7-2 Rams in that category. That's everything. I told you that had to have been an emphasis point. Fordham is so good at finding a team's weakness and making that the theme of their 3 or 4 days in camp. You know what I mean? There's a sense in this locker room on this team that you have to exploit your opponent's weaknesses almost more than highlighting your own strengths. Riley will check back out after a big play to force that offensive rebound. Josh Rivera comes back in. Zona missed his first. Here's his second. That one's no good either. 0 for 2 Tripp. And the Fordham lead stays at 6. 8:45 first half. Colin Tanner running point for Richmond. Walls off a screen. Sends it down low for Roche. The good cut. Backdoor lays it in. Fordham lead has shrunk to 4, 17-13. As it's a 7-0 run by the Spiders. And a Fordham scoring drought nearing 3 minutes. Medor, left wing, corner for Rivera. Rivera pulls up, contested 3 off the front of the rim. Ramad Dean the rebound. Stuck in the paint, kicks out to Zona, swings it right, Medor. Medor gets the screen from Zona, ball batted away, out of bounds. What's the call? Fordham looks like it's staying here with 4-11 on the shot clock. And Mooney hates it. Right in front of that Richmond bench, and they were emphatic that that was Richmond ball. They will not get the favor of home court here. Yeah, this arena is filled up slowly to show how these Richmond fans go and support their squad. Jackie Johnson, top of the key. Jabs and drives. Free throw shot 2 is good.
Jackie Johnson pulls from mid-range. It's 19-13 Rams ahead.
It's so beautiful when you see a lefty shooter fading right. That's so hard to guard because you're so used to fading the same side you shoot with. Great play from Johnson.
Tanner up top. Sends it across to Roche. Deep on the right wing. Adore all over him. Top of the key walls. Neskovich drives on Dean, lays it up, and fouled on the way by Ramad Dean. So more free throws when we come back. Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym.
Discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. It's a Saturday night matchup in the A10. Fordham and Richmond. And Fordham has led for the duration of this game. Richmond's made it a little interesting, but still Fordham ahead 19-13. And Chaz, we hit on it before the break. The key's been rebounding. 20-9. Fordham has the lead in total rebounds. They've got 8 offensive rebounds already, led by 7 total rebounds from Abdou Timbila. You know that's been a preaching point of Keith Ergo all year long, and especially against this team, a Richmond team that struggles so mightily on the glass. This is an opportunity for Fordham to flex their muscles and really dominate.
Both teams low in the assist count as well, so we're seeing a lot of isolation, high dribble count shots go up and not go in. Both the scoring margins for these teams are below what they need them to be to win basketball games. Fordham just has the edge because they were off to that early run.
I mean, you tell me, Chaz. To me, from my eyes here, this game looks a little ugly. I'm not sure the Fordham offense looks entirely smooth. They've just been able to battle on the glass, get some second chance points. This is not the Fordham offense we saw in the first half of the Dayton game and the game against LaSalle. This is a Fordham offense that's getting off to a little bit of a slower start right now.
But I honestly think Coach Keith Ergo might be in favor of that even, because he wants to see what his team is made of when the chips are down and the shots aren't falling. That's a Keith Ergo basketball team.
You talk about head coach of Richmond, Chris Mooney, his style. This Richmond team, they operate very slowly, dead last in the conference in fast break points. They run a lot of half-court sets. They run a lot of 5-out. As you mentioned, the tempo on their side is going to be slow. Maybe the philosophy is, well, no reason on the Fordham side that we need to speed it up and make it hectic.
No, especially when you're 1 from 9 from beyond the arc, and none of them fast break looks. Fordham just looking to muck up that Richmond defense, make them confused, make them make a mistake, get someone out of position. That's where you'll get your big buckets. That's where you're going to score your points. Right now, you focus on your defense.
Well, it's a Fordham offense that's added a new layer to the way that they're running their plays now. They have a whiteboard actually held by one of the managers. We got a great line of sight. We're right next to the Fordham bench. Charlie Dino, one of the Fordham managers, will write plays on the whiteboard, and he'll just throw it up when Fordham gets the ball. Coach Ergo said it's helped slow down the offense. It's put the ball in the hands of Jaffe Medor and allowed him to run the offense effectively.
And he is your floor general, textbook. He is the guy in the arena. I said it before. He is the calming, cool presence for this team. He's always picking his brothers up. He's always making his teammates better. He is the one that needs to be running the offense. And if he wants the whiteboard, he gets the whiteboard.
Neskovich, perfect from the line. 4-point game once again, 19-15, 7.5 left to go here in the first half. And Jaffe Medor, just as we talk about him, takes up the ball, gives it to Johnson across to Dean, fakes the 3 from the left wing. Inside to Rivera, off the window and in. It's an easy 2 for Josh Rivera.
He's been so good down low this stretch. Josh Rivera is coming into his own as an A10 player.
7 straight games in double-figure scoring Zona gets a tip on the ball. It's a loose scramble along the sideline. Zona and Walls will get tangled up. Looked like Zona may have taken out Walls. His legs on the scramble there. And Matt Zona will get called for his second foul of the game.
And the want is there for the foul. Like he's making a good play on the ball. But you gotta not, he was trying to dive through Walls to get to that ball, which you love the effort, attitude play. But not the result we wanted. You got 2 fouls now.
Zona checks out, Timbilla back in. Mikel White stands at one of the 8 legs of the Richmond Spider logo. Walls free throw line, kicks corner for Roche, Tyne, back up top for Tanner, wide open for 3, it's no good. Walls offensive rebound falls to the floor. And the whistle call, Fordham wanted a turnover on the travel from Walls. Are they going to get a push here against Fordham?
The foul's on Abdu. The foul's on Abdu. Abdu was separated by at least 6 inches of air on that, and Keith Ergo is irate to the left of me right now. Tim Smith, the baseline referee, making the call there, and people are not in favor. And wild call.
Well, that will send Walls to the line. As Richmond now in the bonus for the remaining 6:42. Sinks the first, he'll get a second, so that's now both of your centers, Matt Zona, Abdu Timbilla, with 2 personal fouls here in the first half.
You can't get those phantom fouls like that on Abdu Timbilla when he's such a physical defender.
You can make a case both of the fouls against Timbilla a bit debatable. Walls misses the second, and Ergo still barking at the referee, Tim Smith.
What did Rasheed Wallace say? Ball don't lie.
Handoff for Johnson, right wing. Straight on for Dean. Dean bounces short corner for Rivera, spins and drives, goes underneath, misses the reverse layup, ball is loose. And eventually picked up by Niskovich as it got away from the pile and rolled into the hands of Richmond's power forward. Niskovich calling for a screen. He's guarded tightly by Johnson. Finds a cutting Niskovich wide open on a backdoor cut, lays it in right hand.
That's just a classic give and go play there for Niskovich. That's basketball. You up fake out like you're gonna go around the 3-point arc and just slam backdoor. Great bucket there from Richmond's leading scorer.
One possession game, 21-18, Fordham, 5:50 first half. Johnson steps behind 3-point land. Pass behind the back to Timbilla, off his hip and rolls out of bounds. Tightly covered by Tanner down low, but maybe Jackie Johnson, eyes got a little too big there in that play.
Yeah, the flashy there, unfortunate. You gotta be watching the read if you're the center there. Fordham going small ball now, Rivera at the 5, Tripp in there guarding Walls. The mismatch, hopefully not. This is going to be interesting. This is the lineup I was talking to Coach about yesterday. Should be good.
Walls will have a at least 4-inch advantage on anyone on the floor right now for the Rams. Tyne drives his pass to Walls, intercepted, and now Medor blown up at half court by Niskovich. That will be a foul, the 5th going against Richmond.
Borderline clear path there. Jaffe just trying to get the ball up the court. Niskovich bumping him hip to hip. That's a scary play there.
A chance for Fordham to move in transition, had the numbers, and Niskovich just clotheslined him at the logo. 21-18, 5.5 first half. Farrow's bounce into Medor. Straight on feed for Jameer Tripp. Jabs, drives, left of the lane, spins into the paint. He's triple teamed and has it swiped away. Richmond in transition. Niskovich, Euro step, wild pass thrown into the paint. Wanted time, it was deflected. And they'll stay here with Richmond. Will be the baseline inbound for the Spiders. 5:11 first half. Still a 3-point game. Referee's getting a little chippy here with the Fordham bench as Trey Woodall letting them hear it as well. High lob into Walls, just in front of the left arc. He's guarded by Medor. That's a big mismatch. Kicks out Tyne, swings it right for Niskovich. Gets Dean in the air, drives, shovels down low, and an easy 2 put in by Jack D'Entremont. 1-point game, 21-20. Good ball movement by the Richmond Spiders as they've worked their way back into this game. Johnson right wing. Up top, Tripp swings left, Medor. Back to Tripp, left wing, pulls from 3. It's off right iron. Fordham's gone cold. 2.5 minute scoring drought for the Rams. Walls controls top of the key. Hands off for time. He'll pull the straight on 3 and hit. Richmond's got their first lead of the night. 23-21.
And the comeback there was inevitable. They've ran that play with Walls and White so many times, coming behind that top screen and shooting a long ball the first time it's converted all night.
It's an 8-0 run for the Spiders. Rivera drives, hangs, wants the foul. He won't get it. Now they get the blocking foul.
And this
That's
arena's
Colin
come to
Tanner.
life.
I think that's going to be a late blocking foul on the Rivera drive. That was a really delayed call by the sideline official.
The half-court ref. He wasn't anywhere close to the baseline. Tim Smith has his fingerprints all over this basketball game.
Well, Josh Rivera will go back to the line. 1 for 2 on his previous trip. The free throw shooting from Rivera has slowly improved. He is nearing 50% on the career. That is not something you thought you'd say after his struggles last year. His first round was in.
Sorry, that was Chase Shaw at the half court. That's also been the one getting into it with Coach Keith Ergo. It's
all about accuracy here at FUV.
Yeah, of course. Rivera looking to get back into it as we hit forward. The next stoppage of play is the under 4 media timeout.
Bounces out. Fordham trails by 1, 23-22. Final 4 minutes here from the Robbins Center in the first half. Tides bounce across the Tanner. Top of the key Walls. Back out to Tide. Fordham in his zone. Richmond operating around the perimeter. Tanner right wing. To Tide straight on. They can't get any penetration here. Tanner hops into the paint. The floater rolls in with the left hand. It's another very tough shot from Colin Tanner.
And he had contact from the moment he jumped up to his peak, and he was able to elevate and extend his arm to get the ball where it needed to go.
Johnson cuts to the paint. His floater bounces out. Oh, it was a great cut by Johnson. A good read by Rivera to get it to him. Fordham down by 3. D'Entremont in the corner. Drives on Tripp. Had the advantage, stops on the block and missed the floater. Tripp takes it in. All the way down to the corner, back to the basket. In the short corner, spins into the paint, puts it up right hand, it's good off glass.
Footwork. The way he's able to maintain his pivot foot while going full speed into the paint is very admirable. Jameer Tripp is very useful at the 4-5 for this Fordham team, especially when they're going small ball.
It's been a tough go for Jameer Tripp in A10 play. That was a tight, nice, tough shot there. Neskovich misses the left wing 3. Fordham grabs the rebound. 2.5 to go here at half number 1. Fordham down by 1. Johnson drives, trips on the way. Not going to get a foul call. That's going to be a turnover in Richmond ball. 2:22 left in the first half. Richmond has overtaken the lead. It's 25-24 as we send it back to Madi Dembele with the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Round 2 here, Madi Dembele. Come with me around the world of sports. Once again, busy schedule. The most important game in SEC history is a classic. The Tigers riding the tide 84-77. Like I said before, the A10 is indeed ablaze. Rafael Castro goes point for point with Bobby Durkin as his 20 is enough to lift the George Washington Revolutionaries over Davidson 74-67. Chance Moore and the Bonnies waltz into Amherst, Massachusetts and take down the Minutemen 73-59. One word, jailbreak. 4 nations, 1 dream. Finland and Sweden give their absolute all as Finland roared back Saturday against the rival Sweden. Mikael Granlund, oh my God. North American with some civil unrest. USA and Canada get ready to face off at 8 p.m. tonight. NBA All-Star Weekend is in fact underway. Stephon Castle with the team MVP. He will be participating in the All-Star game. Head coach is going to be, I believe, Candace Parker, joined by Chris Mullen there. For this one-on-one scoreboard, I am Madi Dembele.
Orlando, Chaz McAdams, 2:22 left in the first half here from the Robins Center in Richmond, Virginia. The matchup that's been dubbed the pillow fight between the 14-seed Fordham Rams, the 15-seed Richmond Spiders. Well, Coach Ergo said there's no matchup in the A-10 that is free of tough physical play, and that has rung true today. This game has at times been ugly, it's been messy, it's certainly been physical.
Richmond's colors are red and that navy blue. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Fordham wearing some of that blood red and bruised blue. This is an absolute slugfest. Missed foul calls on both sides, jawing with the referees, players jawing with each other on the court. Matt Zona diving for the ball, taking out Neskovic's legs. Walls throwing his elbows out there. This is Atlantic 10 basketball.
And it's so funny, you know, we're over here, we're trying to find every game. What's the emerging storyline? Who's the player of the game? I'm not sure I can pinpoint one person. I don't think there's a single player in this game that has taken over this game. The scoring has been evenly distributed on both sides. I don't think there's a single player that's playing particularly well.
No.
It's just been a wild, physical, I'll say it again, ugly game.
Maybe it's us. Maybe we're the players of the game this game. We're the cleanest ones out there.
Do we get the attitude award?
I would say.
Well, if your performance today is anything like your performance in yesterday's manager's game, I think we're in good hands.
I think we're in great hands. And this 3-2 full court press that goes into the 3-2 zone for Fordham has been successful at times. It's just a matter of when to turn it on and turn it off.
Tanner, the bounce pass off the ankle of Jaffe Medor, staying here. And Fordham right back out with that small ball lineup, Zona and Timbila on the bench. And their bigs really are just Dean and Tripp. Rivera at the top of the 3-2. Medor and Johnson on the wings. Tanner swings it left for Tyne, into the free throw line, kick out for Roche, his three no good. Offensive rebound, D'Entremont. Wolves in the paint, the floater, nice touch, it's good. 3-point lead for Richmond. Not a great rebounding team is Richmond, they get the offensive rebound there. Johnson deep on the right wing, bounces straight on for Tripp. Hands off for Johnson. Johnson gets the screen from Tripp. Free throw line, two, it's good! An athletic shot from Jackie Johnson. And if he starts to heat up, that could get Fordham the lead back.
Probably, if you look up microwave in the basketball dictionary of the world, a picture of Jackie Johnson III pops up. Great shot from JJ3.
27-26 Spiders. Minute 19 first half. D'Entremont, free throw line feed. Back out to Tynes for three. It rolls out. And Dean pulls down the rebound this time. Medor takes it up, guarded by Roche. Screen left from Dean. Across to Johnson. Corner for Tripp, takes it, contested three, off the heel. Rebound secured by Tyne. There's been a slog offensively for the Rams more often than not. Final 50 seconds of half number one. Tyne, swing left wing for D'Entremont. Left post for Walls, back out to Jason Roche. Walls gives it back to Roche, straight on three, it's short. And early struggles from three-point land for the usually accurate Jason Roche. Fordham in across half court, they'll call timeout. There'll be an 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. 24 on the shot clock, 32.9 on the game clock. And despite how ugly this game has been, despite at times the struggles Fordham has run into offensively, you have a possession here and a chance to take a lead into halftime.
Fordham has to play their best basketball of the game so far here. We know the Fordham team that can get offensive reps in and get shots up. Let me remind you the halftime score, 27-26 with 32 seconds left. The slugfest, the mud fights, these are the games that Fordham likes to play.
I'd like to remind you, on Wednesday, this very same Fordham team played against Dayton. The score was 48-48 at halftime. 27-26 right now, 30 seconds to go.
Unreal. I mean, you can't make this up if you tried. It's just how you adjust to your opponent. It's a matter of situation. It's a matter of location. Are you making shots? Are you preventing them from making shots? It's a slugfest. And Keith Ergo and his guys like to live in the mud. These slugfests is where they thrive.
Josh Rivera will be the trigger man on the high near side. To Medor in the backcourt.
And they're going for last shot here.
19 on the shot clock, an 8-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Medor stands at the Spider logo, guarded by Tanner. And they'll move with the end of the shot clock. Medor drives, and short on the lefty leg. Last shot here for Richmond, 10 seconds left in half number one. Ty, deep left wing. Takes the contested three, it's no good. Rebound secured by Johnson, have to do the full court heave, he won't even attempt it. They take you into halftime. Richmond 27, Fordham 26. The pillow fight between the 14 seed and the 15 seed so far to some extent has lived up to the billing. It's been tough, it's been physical, it's been low scoring.
I know, but it's been good Fordham basketball. That brand that Keith Thurgo's wanted to play all season finally coming out. It's just a matter of merging that with your offensive execution you've had all year.
Jackie Johnson and Josh Rivera tied on the Fordham side with 6 points. That leads the Rams. On the Richmond side, it's 6 points from Dusan Neskovich, and I think the fact that both teams' leaders stand at 6 points is pretty telling about the way that half has gone. Richmond 27, Fordham 26, as both teams looking to get out of the bottom of the A-10. We'll send it back to the Bronx. Brendan Shorey, Madi Dembele, happy color for the one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
And welcome in back here at the Rose Hill studio. My name is Brendan Shorey, and I'm joined today by Madi Dembele. And we are here for what Lou likes to call a pillow fight between the Richmond Spiders and the Fordham Rams, the two teams at the bottom of the A-10 standings. Richmond up 27-26 right now at the half. And a big part of this game, despite the score, is the offensive rebounding. Fordham with 8 offensive rebounds in the first half, as opposed to Richmond's 3. Fordham, 9 second chance points off of those 8 offensive rebounds. A big, big impact considering it's still a close game.
Yeah, Brendan Shore, you look at the score, 53 points between both teams. Richmond Spiders holding a 1-point advantage in their own home. And you look at the rebounding in total, it's not just the 8 offensive rebounds to the Richmond's 3. It's the 26 Fordham rebounds in general. It's Fordham playing Fordham basketball, right? And in such a close affair, we talked about the slow start for Richmond. This is not that's not the kind of, I would say, like, yes, you're up a single point here, but Fordham has been getting what they do best. They've been getting that off. So if they could carry this into the next half here, Fordham may just have themselves smooth sailing. And if you're Richmond, you got to crash the glass.
And something we've been worried about recently is the rebounds for Fordham, the rebounding. And you look at the stat sheet and you see Abdou Simbila, 8 minutes, 8 boards.
8 boards.
8 minutes, 8 boards. That's not an easy task. And so you look at the way that this Fordham team is able to come in and rebound. And I stopped at Abdou. You want to keep going. Ramad Dean, 6 boards. Jaffe Medor, 5 boards as a guard, too. Mm-hmm. So you look at the way this Fordham team is rebounding, as we said, that's why they're still in this game.
Yeah, and Keith Thurgo made it an emphasis. You know, when you start to get a little bit away from your element, what makes you got to go back and you got to find that place there. It's been kind of I don't want to say discrepancy, but it's been a hole for Fordham in the last couple of games. So everybody's invested. It's all hands on deck. Again, an offensive rebound for Jaffe Medor, like lead guard out there. Ramad Dean has 2 of his own. So they're doing it on both ends. They're doing it together, and they're accumulating fast here.
And you want to see all 5 crash the boards, which is what we're seeing so far from Fordham. We're not seeing just the bigs out there crash the boards. We're seeing all 5. Like you just mentioned, Jaffe Medor with an offensive rebound himself. A big part of that, though, comes from the poor shooting and 3-point shooting. If you want to take an even bigger look at it, Fordham 1 of 11 from 3. That's 9%. Richmond, the exact same. Fordham 11 of 31 from the field. That's 35%. Richmond 11 of 29, that's 38%. So poor shooting from both teams this game, and I guess that's a big reason why it's so close, because both teams are shooting so poorly.
Any given Sunday, I believe it was Al Pacino who said it's a game of inches, the whole metaphor, the proverb around that. And again, when you struggle from the field like this, which happens, you know, not everybody's going to light it up from 3, as Richmond is known, especially the women's side, men's side as well. you got to get it where it counts. Fordham, 16 points in the paint. Right? You dominate, you establish yourself there because, again, Jaffe likes that little area, right? His little crossover into whatever shot he likes at the basket. You have Abdu, the big presence in the middle, Zach Riley, whoever could get in there, Josh Rivera himself. As long as they're able to continue that and get a steady diet from there, it's all money.
And if you attack the paint efficiently, too, that opens up the three ball.
It does.
That opens up these guys like Jaffe Mador, even like Zach Riley, even Matt Zona, who has the lone three-pointer.
Who can hit a three, man. Everybody forgets about him. Big body. He can match the size that Richmond puts out on the floor. But he also has long arms, long legs. He can move in transition. Great positional size. Great hands. And he could shoot a basketball as well.
He can. He's the only Fordham player so far today to make a three. He has the lone three for
inside out from any level in, I believe, basketball. The best kind of three is the one generated from the low post, right? So ideally, if you're Fordham, and again, you are accustomed to this, you want to play inside to out. You want to attract the double team because blitz and then get it out to your three-point shooters and they'll knock it down.
And we mentioned it earlier. Basketball is a game of runs. Yes. And we saw Fordham come out and take an early 8-0 lead. And then they struggled down the stretch, and we saw Richmond struggle early, hence the 8-0 lead for Fordham. And then they brought it back and went on a run towards the end of the half. And so what you see here is you have both these teams not exactly playing a full 20 minutes here, but they're out there, and when they get hot, they got hot. But then they cooled off, and they kind of took turns. And those runs are kind of a big part of why these teams could be so good, but it's also a big part of why these teams are struggling so much.
Yeah, that's where I struggle with both teams because I don't know necessarily if this game, the way I'm looking at it, if it's a matter of putting your foot on the pedal. Obviously, you would want to do that, but it's like you're playing well enough if you're Fordham. You just got to continue what you're doing, and eventually the odds will go in your favor, but you can't remain complacent with this Richmond team. You really, really can't. Again, the size that they put forth there, I don't know how big of a rebounding discrepancy it will show in the second half. That will surely close again. Fordham out rebounding them by 9, but Richmond's coming. So if I'm Fordham, I don't know. I just stick with my best punch. I know what I like to do. It's muscle memory. It's in my fiber. I know I like to rebound. I know what I like to do. So the game pace, the game flow for Fordham, I'm really, really proud of it, and I like it. I would stick to it.
And this is kind of a theme we've seen throughout the season for Fordham is coming out and not playing a complete 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And going on, whether it be runs, whether it be periods of time where they can't make a shot, whether it be second half collapses, not the inability to play defense. We've seen it game in and game out from this Fordham team this season is that they haven't gone out for full 40 and played.
Yeah.
And that's something that you need to be able to do at the college level. And that's something we need to see next half.
I think it's just a matter of taking a possession one at a time. Maybe you get too ahead of yourself. Maybe you lose the momentum. But you got to remember, basketball's a complementary game. It's offense into defense. Rather, it's offense into transition or defense into transition into your offense, ideally, the way that Fordham plays, right? If Fordham's not able to get anything going from the perimeter or inside, you got to hang your hat on your defense, get running in transition, stop the clock, put some points up when it is stopped. Or maybe just get into your half-court set based off of that defense. So it's all about taking your time, right? You don't want to rush this. And again, no need to rush. You held them to 27 points. Great defensive half, 53 total, and you're right there with them. So no need to rush, no need to change anything too much out of your element. Just ride this hand, ride this style of play, and see where it takes you.
And you mentioned complementary.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball is a complementary sport.
Yeah.
You want to see that on the offensive side as well.
Yeah.
And you look at the assist totals right now. At Fordham 2, Richmond 6. And we heard Chaz mention it during the broadcast. It's a lot of iso ball and putting up late contested shots into the shot clock, which is not ideal when you want to run an offense. And that's something that we're seeing because of more of these half-court sets that they're running. What can we kind of expect to see in order to stop just playing iso ball, in order to move the ball around and create better shots?
Well, Jackie Johnson and Jaffe Mador, we know that they can absolutely get their shot both within the flow of the game and if you call it, and if you just say roll the ball out and give them the basketball. Jackie Johnson, as of right now, 3 of 9 from the field, 18 minutes. Jaffe Mador, 2 of 7. They're both going to play heavy minutes. They combined for 37 already, but it's just a matter of just taking a step back, right? Just that's not the shot that we want. Good shot into a better shot. It's something that coaches on both sides, both men and women's, they've articulated. Yes, we know that this isn't your repertoire. We understand that you can hit the shot, something you practice all day long, but there's better shots out there. And again, when you dominate in the post, 16 points there, I mean, that's money. That's gravy. That's something that you have to look to exploit and go forward with. So a little bit of a step back on those shots because, again, Fordham, the splits are not good for both teams. 9% from 3, 43% from the free throw line. So no need to destroy your percentage anymore. Just give what the defense is taking you.
And when you're able to play down through that post, you can kind of figure out or kind of know what to expect from this Richmond team. And if you see the double start coming down low, if you see them start to trap down low, then you have these options to kick it.
Just give them what they take you. Just give what they take you. Just give what you take. No need to rush because it's wasted possessions, right? You're so close in this game, and you cannot help but think back, man, maybe if I hadn't taken that sidestep 3 from about or sidestep mid-range from about 15, maybe we are up in this game. So it's just a limit of that, and those should be reserved for, when your back is against the wall with the shot clock violation. But no need to force it. Just play basketball, get into your sets every single time, get into them quickly so you have the opportunity to get those easy points.
So you have the full shot clock to work with.
Yeah.
So what I want to know now, before we wrap up, who are you looking for to come out and have a big second half for Fordham? They need someone to come out and kind of re-energize this team. Who do you want that to be?
I'm looking at Romadine. I would say Abdul Simbila, given the fact we talk so much about post play, but Romadine, you heard that he went down scary with that injury. Keith Ergo, he's our most consistent player, right? He has great positional size, big dude, 6'6", 6'7", long arms. He could hit a 3. He could play inside and out, 2-level scorer. And you need him in the rotation. You need him to fill it up, and you need him to just be Romadine and play basketball and just give you what he normally does.
And we've seen him on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes,
Great player on the defensive side. And we've seen what he can give us on offense. And we've seen how this Fordham team can play when Romadine is playing like that on the offensive side. But that is going to do it for us down here in the Rose Hill studio. Brendan Shorey, Madi Dembele, and we will send it right back to Lou and Chaz.
Back with you in the Robbins Center. It's Saturday night in the Atlantic 10. The 8-17 Richmond Spiders, the 11-13 Fordham Rams. Richmond 3-9 in the A10, Fordham 3-8. And Chaz, Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams. Chaz, from the Fordham perspective, we get caught up a lot of times in what's a must-win game, what's not a must-win game, what games are important. I would just say, from the perspective of people that believe in this team and believe in their ability to compete down the stretch, Fordham Rams got to have a strong second half here. This is perhaps your only game this year you will play against a team lower in the standings than you. It's a team that you have the edge in the last two categories, that you probably have the edge in talent-wise. This has to be a win for the Fordham Rams.
It's a must-win if there ever was one, Lou Orlando. And I feel like the Rams are in a decent spot. I know they got off to a hot start, and then there was a sense of dread with the Spider comeback. But there's a lot of trick defenses left for Coach Keith Ergo. You know, we like to throw a lot of different ones out there. The players are going to cool off. It's still the worst rebounding team in the conference. It's still the best free throw shooting team in the conference, so you got to keep them off the line. But you know this team. Richmond is a known entity. Without their go-to guy right in front of us rolling around in a tricycle, you know you can beat that. I'm not. You know you can beat that.
It's a difficult conversation with the Fordham Rams. 3-8 right now in the A10. An 0-6 start, their worst start since the 2019 season. Felt like they had turned a corner after that win against Duquesne. The whiteout game, they beat a Duquesne team that was in the top 4. They go out and they blow the doors off of LaSalle, but a lot of people still think is their best game of the year. You play a close game at Bonaventure. You beat URI on a buzzer beater. Wednesday's game against Dayton was an interesting one to dissect. Tied with one of the best teams in the A-10 at halftime, 48-48. You put on this electric offensive display, shoot over 60% from the field. You collapse in the second half, end up allowing 93 points to a Dayton offense. It's the most points you've allowed in regulation all season long. Where does that game leave you? Because on one hand, you battled with a Dayton team that just went out and beat Duquesne at home. I think they're going to be a top 4 seed when it's all said and done. You hung with them for a half. You showed you can go shot for shot with them. It's a Fordham team that they think they're on the better side of a turning point. Right now, they're in a 1-point, 27-26 game, trailing by 1 to the worst team in the A-10.
There's a certain sense of finding yourself in a better spot than your record shows when you're internal and program. We could have gotten this win here. We were on the last possession here and there. It seems as if right now, and things could change, that these two teams are neck and neck with each other in the standings and in performance.
And it's interesting because we can play all these semantics games about, Fordham only lost by 2 to Bonaventure. They've actually played really competitive down the stretch. Funnily enough, you can do the same exact thing with Richmond. They're 3-9 in A-10. They're 1-8 in their last 9 games. But I can point to you and go, hey, they lost by 6 to George Mason. George Mason's 12-1. They've won 11 straight games. They lost by 4 points to SLU. We both think SLU is a really good team. They beat Ball State. That's a kind of fun win. So I can play that game with Richmond too. I think the main takeaway is good teams don't have consistency issues the way that Fordham and Richmond do. Both these teams are trying to prove that they're not the bottom feeders that, to this stage of the season, their record has shown them to be. And I think this first half is an indication of why they sit where they sit right now. It's not that they can't dig themselves out of that hole, but both these teams clearly struggling to play efficiently and effectively on a consistent game-to-game, half-to-half basis.
Absolutely. And again, it's 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. That's what it is. That's what it always has been. If the Fordham Rams can maintain that, they should be in a good spot.
It'll be Richmond ball to start the second half. Spiders ahead 27-26 after 1 half of play. As their starting 5 back out there, Richmond moving left to right. In their white uniforms, Navy Techs tied wide open on the lefty layup, and the Spiders up 29-26. McAlpine just carving through the defense right from the jump.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the way you set the tone if you're the Richmond Spiders.
Riley, top of the key, Tim Billa. Lets Riley rip through, hands off Medor, top of the key. Swings it right, Ramad Dean. Right wing 3, bounces out. Tipped by Tim Billa. Initially kept here by the Rams, and now Tim Billa takes out White's legs. And that's going to be Tim Billa's 3rd foul.
And another dive foul that we have there. 3 on Abdu. Unfortunate there, especially when you're going to need him in the post down the stretch. Got to be better than that.
It's one of the funnier stat lines you'll see in a while. 8 minutes played in the first half. Abdu Timbilla, 2 minutes, 2 points, 8 rebounds. And now he's got 3 fouls.
It's what a guy like Abdu can do versus the worst rebounding team in the conference.
Tying to the left wing. Off the screen from Walls. Johnson stays with him. Fordham in a man to start the second half. The floater from Neskovich, airballed. And Fordham will take it back the other way. Still a 1-possession game here in the opening minute of the second half. Cross court for Johnson. Step back from the corner. It rolls out. Dean fighting for it. Last touch by Richmond. Fordham a second chance with 20 on the shot clock.
Johnson looking to get some separation on his defender, but Roach not falling for that up fake step back. Still able to get in his grill and affect the shot.
Riley, the baseline trigger man. Wants Johnson, instead resets to Medor, top of the key. Dribble drive, loses it for a second. Now drives right into the lane, banks it in off glass.
So good at slowing his game down. His ability to slow his momentum up is such a key part of his scoring.
Medor's got the Rams back within 1, 29-28. The artist White. Corner for Roche. Resets up top, Neskovich. Free throw line for Mike Walls. Neskovich left wing, drives on Dean, beats him to the punch and lays it in.
Gotta know where Neskovic is going there. You gotta go chest to chest with him, stay in front and move your feet.
Remember, Ramad Dean exited in the first half with a lower body injury. He got beat by the quick drive from Neskovic. Johnson goes down and answers with a floater from the free throw line. Richmond and Fordham trade buckets, 31-30, Spiders ahead. Opening 2 minutes of half number 2. Time, drives, shovels for Walls, two-hand slam. Pick and roll works to perfection.
Perfect there. You get your guys out of position. Walls with the size advantage on Riley, making things happen.
Johnson in the paint, back out to Medor. Left wing three, off the heel. Tipped into the hands of Walls. Timbila had a shot at it, but Richmond takes it back the other way. Neskovic fakes the three, draws the contact from Zach Riley. That's the second foul going against Fordham in the first 2.5 minutes.
And he goes up and under him. Neskovic, so good at drawing contact. When you're a go-to guy like that, you know defenses are keyed in on you. You can make him make mistakes like Riley just did.
Zona checks in for Timbila. White on the left wing, off a screen, swings it right for Time, bounce to the corner, Time gets it back. The reset to White, White's pass tipped by Riley, but he gets it back. White on the left wing, uses the pivot foot, still guarded by Riley, goes cross court for Roche, 3 on the shot clock. Time, top of the key, deep heave, it's no good. Roche offensive rebound, no box out there by the Rams. Roche pulls on the right wing, off front iron, this time Dean the rebound.
Good shot contest there by Zona, recovering after no one boxed out Roche.
Mod in the corner. Jackie top of the key. Off a screen from Zona. Jackie will drive, draws the reach-in foul. Goes all the way to put the lefty layup in. The foul will be on the floor. It's going to be B-Artist White. His third, and he'll check out alongside Mike Walls. Ryan Sulis checks in.
Sulis with stature out there, big frame.
Lob from Medor, left elbow extended. Steps back from 14, it bounces out. Dean offensive rebound. One more chance of the Rams. Corner three, Medor, this time it's good. Jaffe Medor ties this game up at 33. Oh, they're going to say that was a 2, foot on the line. Richmond still up by 1, 33-32. 16-18, second half. Tying off a screen, steps back, 10-footer, rattles in. 2 bounces off the front of the rim and in. Mikal Tyne having a nice start to the second half. Richmond lead back out to 3. Jackie Johnson, left wing drive. Stops at the block, takes it back out. Resets for Zona up top, handoff for Jaffe Medor. Kicks back out, deep 3 from Johnson off left iron. Neskovic the rebound. Fordham continuing to struggle from three-point land, now 1 of 15. Tyne curling around into the paint, blocked by Dean, but it was on the way down. That's a goaltending. And Richmond, their largest lead of the night, 37-32. The Spiders up by 5 with 15:33 left in the second half. Well, Chaz, not the start the Rams were hoping for in the second half. They trail by 5. It's Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Back in a second.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the 5 boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
Lou Orlando, Chaz McAdams, it's A10 basketball on 90.7 FM WFUV. Well, the three-point shot has really not been an option for either team. Fordham 1 of 15, Richmond 1 of 13. That's a combined 2 of 28 for the game. You kind of expected this from Richmond. They come in shooting 31% from beyond the arc. For Fordham, 33.7. It's been a go-to for them. It was a strength in the Dayton game, especially for Mador, Johnson, and Dean. That's been something that they've had up their sleeve the entire season. It has been a drought offensively for the Fordham Rams, especially from behind the arc.
And again, a Fordham team that's defined by their offense on the court, culturally defined by their defense. You got to find the middle ground there, play both sides of the ball, all 94 feet of the basketball court. Just maintain excellence. You're down 4 now. You've got the shooters. The shots are going up. They're just not falling. They'll fall.
Chaz, you tell me, is this, I think back to some of the plays, the offensive rebound by Jason Roach where no one boxes him out. Is part of this just a focus and an attention to detail issue? It doesn't feel like the Rams have played anywhere close to their best basketball. And we did illustrate over the last month, they played some of their best basketball down the stretch, picking up 3 wins, getting back into the mix of things here in the A-10. It feels like they have come out flat, even in here into the second half.
It's a problem that a lot of teams fall into, where they play down to the level of their, down or up to the level of their opponent. That seems to be the situation the Rams are in now.
I think it's so curious because I think we have the perfect comparison of Wednesday against a Dayton offense that shoots the lights out. Fordham matches them in the first half. They put 48 points in the first half. You play a Richmond offense that's dead last in the conference, and this is one of the most low-scoring first halves we've seen from the Rams. It's continuing to be a slog offensively. It does feel like that theory of playing up or down to the level of your opponent has some relevance and some pertinence for this Fordham team.
The Rams looking for a good look offensively. They got Zona out there at the 5. You got a powerhouse in Rivera. Ramadine, Mr. Consistency. Jaffe Mador always able to shoot up as Richmond goes into a press.
Mador will beat it with ease. Goes to the corner for Zona. Fakes from 3. And Richmond able to reset defensively. Zona left wing. Hands off for Rivera. Rivera drives left of the lane. Scoop layup in with the right hand. It's off glass.
He's been going to the Jackie Johnson school of layups. His ability to be creative off the window has Johnson written all over it. Great for Rivera.
Well, we always talk about his strength. He's had some really nice finesse layups the past few games. He had some highlight ones in that Dayton game. That was another pretty one. 37-35, Rams back within 2. 14:50 second half. Tying off the Sulis screen. Back to Sulis up top. Passes up on the 3, swings it to Neskovic, steps inside, drives, contested 2, no good. The putback by Colin Tanner. And head coach Keith Ergo not happy about the lack of box out there.
It's got to be a box out there. The problem happened before. It's Rivera's guy there. You got to be more in tune with what's going on in the game.
Zona to the corner for Mador. Mador uses the screen, pulls from the left wing, goes to the ground, doesn't draw the foul, and misses the 3. 39-35, Richmond ahead. They've got the ball here, 14-10 second half. Mikel Tyne up to Tanner. Tanner has played a lot today. As it appears, Apotulis Rumaglu has not been an option off the bench for Richmond. Neskovic, contested right wing 3, nothing but net. Puts it on the ground, squares up, and takes the 3. And Richmond up 42-35.
Their largest lead of the night.
You're starting to see why Neskovic has been their leading scorer in A-10 play. Up at the double digits now with 11 points. Mador gets the handoff. Fordham offense going to need to respond at some point here. Zona free throw line, shovels back out to Mador. Pulls from straight on, draws the foul. Shot doesn't go. But this time, Mador will earn 3 free throws at the line. He had tried that the previous possession down.
Yeah, he got knocked on him both times. They're playing him really tight. They don't want Jaffe hitting any more threes, getting Fordham back into this game. Jaffe, one of the better free throw shooters on the Fordham Rams, looking to get it a 2-possession game.
5th in the A-10 free throw shooting percentage, 85.3 from the line. He's gotten there more than any other Ram this season. 116 tries from the line, and you can add 3 more right here. A chance to cut this Richmond lead back down to 4. Crowd's gonna boo, and he'll make the first.
Starting, JUCO, then up to UTSA. Now here in the Bronx, Jaffe Mador his journey, his story, his growth as not just a player but a person. When he came into Fordham, he was an electric point guard that had an inclination to win, and he's been molded into a fantastic leader for the Fordham Rams. He's everything for this team.
There's a reason he's the captain. There's the reason the keys to the offense are in his hands. You know, you have a guy in Jackie Johnson that's top 50 in the nation in scoring. But who's the key of the offense when you talk about Keith Urgo? It's Jaffe Medor that unlocks everything. He makes all 3 free throws, 42-38, 13-22 second half. As the Rams get 3 crucial points, get back within striking distance. Fordham in a 3-2 zone. The tip by Zona, the steal by Riley. Across to Medor. Medor drives, lays it in, left hand, and the foul. A chance for a 6-point swing here as Jaffe Medor going right back to the line.
What did I tell you, Lou Orlando?
What did you tell me?
The sentence starts and ends with Jaffe Medor when the question is, who is the guy for the Fordham Rams?
Jaffe Medor, and rightfully so, is starting to get some love as one of the best point guards in the A-10. I think people are starting to realize just what he does for this team. It's 42-40 as he goes to the line for one more. Nothing but net, never a doubt.
That's a 6-point swing solo for Jaffe Medor. Check your relapse, folks.
Richmond 42, Fordham 41. Still 13 to go here in the second half, and Fordham will sit in that 3-2 zone. Why not? It forced a turnover the last time. Tanner across to Tyne. Fakes the pass right, keeps it here, now swings right. There's Neskovich on the short corner. Back out to Tyne, 5 on the shot clock. Tyne steps back, swings right for Neskovich, drives on Tripp, and the foul on the floor. A bump from Tripp down in the corner there. Urgo not thrilled with the call. I'm going to guess you're not either.
Tripp moving his feet there, gets him with the forearm a little bit. And they call it for him. You got to move your feet there. 1.9 left on the shot clock now. It's so much more. 20 seconds.
Well, Johnson subs in. The feed into Walls, off his fingertips. He saves it before he goes out of bounds. Tanner's double teamed in the corner. He'll spin out. It's knocked out of bounds. Last touch, they say by Fordham. Jaffe Medor arguing that it's Fordham ball. I think refs are going to talk about this, but it looks like call staying as is. D'Entremont is going to go out on the low side to be the trigger man here.
13 seconds left. Shot clock. This is a big stop here. Go score, maintain the lead.
D'Entremont into Tyne. 10 on the shot clock. Corner for Neskovich, tightly guarded by Tripp. Neskovich drives, bounces down low for Walls, blocked from behind by Zona, but his follow-up is good. Oh, it ended up right back in the hands of Mike Walls. An easy lay-in, and the lead back up to 3 for Richmond, 44-41. 12-15 second half. Tripp off the handoff, curling down, double teamed, corner for Johnson, pulls from 3. It's short, tapped into the hands of Neskovich. A good look there for Fordham's leading scorer to tie this game up. Could not hit, and the three-point woes continue. 2 for 18 from behind the arc. Tyne off a screen. Fordham has switched back to a man. Neskovich guarded by Medor. Walls up top. Resets to Tyne. Gets some space with the screen. Pulls from 3 and hits. Mikkel Tyne. And the lead back out to 6, 47-41. 11:30 second half.
How much better can you be than your record? How can you pull away here?
It's 3-8 versus 3-9 in conference. The 2 bottom feeders in the A-10. Johnson, free throw line. Sends it into Zona, who draws the foul. That one called by the near side official Tim Smith. And it takes us into our media timeout. Fordham, they had a punch, a 6-point swing from Jaffe Medor. Richmond gets it right back. They're up 6 going into the under-12 media timeout. Let's hear once again from Madi Dembele on the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one halftime report. the one-on-one scoreboard.
Third time is the charm. Madi Dembele taking you around the sports universe. The SEC's crown jewel is one for the books. Janai Broom leads the Auburn Tigers past the Alabama Crimson Tide, 94-85. The A-10 is a go. The state of Mississippi is jumping. Number 22 Mississippi State is fending off the number 19 Ole Miss Rebels, 42-37. Tyrese Proctor has Stanford waving the flag. See what I did there? Duke dropping triple digits on the Cardinals, 106-70. Again, 4 nations in a single dream. North America with a civil unrest. USA and Canada get ready to face off 8 p.m. That's going to be tonight. Finland and Sweden give the crowd an overtime thriller. 4-3 is the final score there. Finland is able to survive. An NBA All-Star break. Kenny's Young Stars take on Chuck's Global Stars, 8:20 tomorrow. Shaq's OGs face off against Candace and the Rising Stars. That trails after the latter. 9-10. For the one-on-one scoreboard, I am Madi Dembele.
Back with you on 90.7 FM, WFUV Orlando, Chaz McAdams. It appears as if Jaffe Medor's shot in the corner has been changed back to a 3. Chaz is getting the pieces of this information right now. What's the word?
So ruled a 2 originally. They looked back and reviewed it, gave it to us on the back end. No scoring differentiation needed. The score is correct up there. Jaffe hit a 3.
47-41, the Spiders ahead. Even by the standards of Richmond, this was a shocking fall off. They were picked 7th in the A-10 preseason poll. You figured there'd be some drop off. You lose the A-10 co-player of the year, Jordan King. You lose Neil Quinn. You lose Isaiah Bigelow. G. Bailey transfers to LSU. And especially when Delani Hunt goes down, that's your starting 5 from last year. So you figure there'd be a little bit of a drop-off. But bottom of the barrel in the A-10, 3-9 in A-10 play, 8-17 overall. Kind of shocking when you look at Chris Mooney's tenure at Richmond. 14 of his 20 seasons have been at 500 or above. He won the A-10 title in 2022, and he won the regular season title in 2024. This is a program that's known for excellence.
He's always had the guy. That's what I was trying to, like, Jordan King was so good. So good here for the Richmond Spiders. And then you go into it, you lose your modern version of that, and now you have to adjust. And they're adjusting pretty well. Nuskovic has been great. Neskovic.
Zona makes both free throws. It's a 4-point game, and Fordham will press. To that point about Richmond, it is funny. You get a little bit of whiplash. They win the A-10 title, then they're under 500, then they win the regular season title. The last few seasons have been interesting for the Spiders. It's Richmond ball, 12 on the shot clock, 10:50 left to go in the game. Walls posts up on Timbila, turns around, the baby hook rolls in. One bounce off the front of the rim and in. 6-point lead for Richmond. It's a matchup we had our eyes on. The 6'9" Timbila, the 6'11" Mike Walls. Neither one has really dominated yet in this game. Door controls up top. Rams in a 6-point hole. Off a screen, Medor to the corner for Johnson. Wide open for 3. This time, yes! Jackie Johnson gets his first 3 of the night, and it's a 3-point game.
Keep the energy up here.
Fordham back to a man. They've switched between man and zone all half long. Tyne drives, contested by Timbila, and no good. Long feed ahead to Rivera, lays it in off of 2 feet.
5-point swing here.
49-48, clock dips under 10 minutes here in this one from the Robbins Center. It's Tyne at the logo, screen from Walls. Johnson stays with him. Johnson harassing Tyne, who's picked up his dribble. He'll have to reset up top to Jack D'Entremont. Takes it left to right, swiped by Tripp. Tripp in transition, bumped by D'Entremont. That one was loud. And Tripp's going to the line. Chaz, you wonder if they review that one at all. That was a full-on shove.
Yeah, I mean, Tripp had the ball in his hands. There's no way the guy could even be going for a block there. He just doesn't believe in Tripp at the line.
Jameer Tripp, who has entered a tough go of things here in A10 play. I have a chance to get a couple at the line, and Tripp's had a couple really strong moments in this game. You think about that shot in the paint using the footwork a little bit ago. He misses the free throw. This is a chance to take the lead for Fordham. You just need one to tie the game back up. Richmond has led since late in the first half. Fordham a chance to get back even. Oh, short. Misses both. Tipped by Timbila out of bounds. Richmond ball. Well, listen to this Robbins Center crowd give it to him. And Chaz, we said in the first half, this place is an awesome venue. How about that? Tripp gets to the line after a steal. The crowd gets loud and he misses both. And you have to think the crowd played some effect on that one.
They got to him. They got to him.
Johnson face guards Tyne. Gets some help from a screen. Tyne, short corner two. Got it to go. Mikkel Tyne, he's had a couple tough buckets in this half. Richmond up by 3, 9:05 left to play. Rivera in the corner. Out to Johnson. Straight on Medor. Screen from Timbila. Left wing 3. Rattles out. Tyne puts it between the back. Gets the screen from Beagle. Floater. It's good. Mikkel Tyne on a tear right now.
Tyne only averaging 8 points per game this year, and he's already at 14. This is a career game for him.
A sophomore coming off a phenomenal freshman season. Nearly a turnover by the Rams. They trail by 5, 53-48. Medor off a screen. Corner for Rivera from 3. No good. Rebound by Beagle. Rising up over Timbila to grab that one. 8 minutes left to go. Rams trail by multiple possessions, 53-48. Tyne bounces Beagle. Free throw line floater the touch. It's a run by Richmond. And that's going to force the timeout by the Rams. Well, Jameer Tripp went to the line with a chance to give the Rams the lead. He missed both free throws. And Richmond has scored. We'll do the math here. I believe the last 6 points is a 6-0 swing to take us into the media timeout. Richmond 55, Fordham 48. As Fordham trying to avoid a loss to the worst team in the A10. We're back with you in a second. It's Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Orlando Chaz McAdams in the span of 70 seconds. A 6-0 run by Richmond. It takes it from a 1-point lead to a 7-point lead for the Spiders. It's been fueled by Mikkel Tyne. All of a sudden, the game's leading scorer with 16 points. Chaz, we've been talking about this team looking for a scoring and playmaking guard that can fill the void left by Delani Hunt, who fractured his foot in early January. You wonder if it's Tyne, only a sophomore coming off of one of the best freshman seasons since 2019, Jake Wojcik. And Mikkel Tyne all of a sudden going on a tear, leading the Spiders to a 7-point lead.
And it's just been so much action for Tyne all game. I haven't even seen a lot of Neskovic, really. Who's playing more minutes? Tyne. Who's taking more shots? Tyne. Who's made more shots? Tyne. Who's taking more threes? Tyne. It has been the Mikkel Tyne game so far today. And Fordham's going to need to key in on him if they want a chance to stop it.
Canadian native, number 10 prospect out of Maryland. worked his way into a starting role as a freshman last season, started 11 of 33 games, was a solid bench piece for a Richmond team that went 23-10, tied for the #1 seed in the A10. They were upset by St. Joe's in the quarterfinals. That was a shocking upset. Richmond was dominant in the A10 last season. McKell Times was a much smaller part of that. We've referenced Jordan King a lot. That team had a lot of experienced talent. As play resumes with Fordham ball, looking to answer the run by Richmond. A 7-point hole. It's Medor at the logo. Tambilla comes up for a screen. Corner for Johnson. Fakes the three, guarded tightly by Tannen. Tripp posting up. Puts it up with the left hand. It's no good. The chase for the rebound. It's Tyne. Tripp had a good look down there in the post. Just could not get the touch. Tyne with the ball once again. Dribble drive. Pulse with a free throw line. This time no good. Beagle offensive rebound. Poked away by Tambilla. Beagle gets it back. The reset. It's intercepted by Johnson. Fordham will run with numbers. Across to Medor. Can't lay it in. Does draw the foul. Looked like Colin Tanner that time, rising up with Medor. Tried to get acrobatic with it and take the ball around with the left hand.
Great pass there by Johnson as well. Maintaining it, keeping it up in the air, finishing, almost getting the and one. Great steal by Johnson as well.
Fordham in a 7-point hole. And I think, Chaz, let's keep it here. If we're able to send it back for the media timeout, we've got some time to talk about this. Fordham 3-8 in the A10, Richmond 3-9. Fordham in a 7-point hole. They really haven't played their best basketball after a strong start to this game. They get out to an 8-0 lead. The opening 4 minutes were strong. Ever since then, we haven't seen the Fordham team that beat LaSalle by double digits, that hung with Dayton. What do they need to do here down the stretch, final 7 minutes, to recapture some of the offensive vitality that they've seen in recent games?
You have to stop the Spiders from scoring at will. They've been getting whatever they want on the offensive glass. They've been getting way more second chance points than they deserve. There's been way too much discourse about the Rams not being able to defend for them to not know that they need to step up in this game.
We look at the Fordham scoring pretty evenly distributed between Medor, Johnson, and Rivera. Very quietly, that's been the top three that's emerged offensively. Those are the top three scorers. What you've seen the last 2 games that was different from, say, the LaSalle game or the win against Rhode Island is the lack of depth scoring. You think back to the game against Dayton. Jackie and Josh both put up 17. Jaffe and Josh both put up 17. Jackie puts up 24. There was not a ton of help outside of that. There are players on this team that can contribute offensively. We saw what Jameer Tripp did in non-conference play. You've seen Matt Zona in person go off and become an elite stretch big. We've watched Abdou Tambilla over the last 4 years have big games. We've seen Ramad Dean pop off for 10-plus points. Right now, on this recent stretch, the last 2 games or so, the depth scoring has not been there for the Rams.
Yeah, there needs to be more. Again, you don't want this team to be defined by its offense, because that just doesn't work for the squad. But defensively, I think you have to stop the ball. The shots will come. The shots are there. You have to stop the ball.
Well, it's Medor at the line, a chance to cut this lead to 5. He has not missed today.
See Jaffe at the line again. It's a tale as old as time. His ability to come in and create for his teammates, create opportunities.
Makes the first.
So good.
Well, you see how powerful this crowd can get when Jameer Tripp went to the line. So far, Jaffe not phased.
He's just cool, calm. I told you. Jackie's the fire, he's the ice. They're cool, calm, and collected.
I'll tell you what, that would make a good graphic.
Oh, it'll come.
Jaffe makes both 55-50. The Richmond lead, 7:13 left in the game. Colin Tanner, the point guard, takes it up. Tyne still out there. Tanner has it swiped away by Medore. Medore fouled on the reach-in by Mikkel Tyne. That's Tyne's second foul beyond the floor. But that's their 7th foul. That should send Jahffe Medore to the line.
Yeah, should be. Totals up there. Yeah, the 7th foul, Jahffe going to the line. You've got 7 minutes and 4 seconds left. That is everything.
Chaz, this is an X factor. 3 fouls for the Rams in this half. And now they're Fordham in the bonus offensively. That's something they can take advantage of.
Absolutely.
It's that man again, Medore back to the line. Makes the first, and now a chance to make this a 1-possession game. Say what you will about how the Rams have played today. They've kept this game within striking distance.
Jahffe Medore, and that's all Jahffe. Again, Jackie gets the flashy shots. Jackie gets all the credit. He's the volume scorer. Jahffe Medore is just Mr. Cool, calm, and collected.
6 straight points offensively for Jahffe Medore makes it a 55-52 game. Richmond the 3-point advantage. And Fordham will press in a man look. Tyne, face guarded by Medore. He'll drive, spin into the lane. Back out to Beagle, free throw line. Floater way off. Gets his own miss, contested by Medore, and the rebound by Dean. Great defensive set by Fordham that time.
His verticality is unmatched.
6.5 to go. It's Medore up top. Rams trail by 3. Screen right from Timbilla. He stays there. Corner for Rivera. Rivera drives. Baseline. Tangled up. Can't lay it in. The follow-up no good as well. But staying here. Last touch by Neskovic. 2 good looks there for Josh Rivera inside.
And as Walls checks back in, Timbilla has to know the key matchup here. Walls cannot be allowed to get whatever he wants in the dunker spot.
Medore, left elbow Rivera. Rips through, spins into the paint, lays it in. Contested no less.
1-point game.
We talked about what's been the top 3 offensively for the Rams. Jackie, Josh, and Jahffe. On this stretch, it's been Jahffe and Josh that have got the Rams back within 1. B. Artis White across to Neskovic. For Richmond offensively, it's been all Tyne lately. See if anyone else can emerge. Walls left elbow, hands off for Tyne. Left wing guarded by Timbilla. Tyne drives, lays it in, and draws the foul. Mikkel Tyne playing out of his mind.
All Tyne low there for Tyne. Mikkel Tyne is an absolute spark plug. I don't even know what to call it. He's got the Energizer batteries in his back. He's playing great. He's playing an offensive masterclass. He's playing off of White. He's playing off of Neskovic, off of his backcourt compatriots. It's an all-time game for Tyne as he goes for 19.
And he makes the free throw. 2-possession game, 58-54. 5:43 left. The foul on Timbilla, his 4th. He takes a Zona comes in. Mikkel Tyne has been a game breaker for the Rams. I should say against the Rams. Medore up top, screen from Zona, hesitates as he thinks about the 3. Picks up his dribble, he's double teamed, needs an outlet, bounces down low for Zona. Zona fouled by Mike Walls, got a little handsy reaching around.
Wrapping around him, and the Robin center hates it.
Remember, that's free throws. Matt Zona went 0 for 2 on his first trip to the line, was perfect on his next trip. By mid-January, Matt Zona was shooting 85% from the line, had a tough go of things in the UMass game. That free throw percentage down to 71%. A chance for 2 big ones, though, right here.
These are everything. Matt Zona on the court.
Nothing but net on the first.
For his consistency to do the little things. Like, he grew up a fundamental basketball player. His dad played at Iona, FDNY, played at Bergen Catholic, a fantastic basketball program there. So if it's ever about the little things, getting your hands in passing lanes, fundamentals on the block, and especially free throws, Matt Zona's Mr. Reliable.
Makes both. 2-point game, 58-56. 4 years at Notre Dame. Safe to say he learned a thing or two about how to play D1 basketball at a high level in an elite ACC conference. Tyne and White play catch as Fordham switches back to the 3-2 zone. White top of the key. Corner for Neskovich. Steps inside. He'll drive. Zona contests. Call for the foul. Neskovich makes the shot in the paint. That might be a controversial foul call, Chaz.
I got to see the replay because I don't even know what they saw. Neskovich was fading away.
5 minutes left to go.
Off. Where's the foul?
You just saw it on.
Neskovich creates space with his elbow by sweeping through. It's a great basketball move, and he fades away. I don't know where the foul is there, Lou Orlando.
Robin Center has 2 scoreboards to our left and to our right. Got a good look at it. Neskovich to complete the 3-point play. Nothing but net. And it's back-to-back sequences with 3-point plays for Richmond. 61-56, they're back up by 4. Or by 5, excuse me.
Check the clock, less than 5 minutes to go. You have to punish them for their bad shots here if you're the Rams.
Johnson drives left of the lane, kicks corner, Dean wide open. No good. Rebound tipped. Out of bounds, last touch by Richmond, should be Fordham ball. It was White who tried to save it, could not. And Fordham the ball underneath the basket, 20 in the shot clock.
You love the effort there from White.
Rivera left elbow, spins inside, lays it in. No, he can't. Offensive rebound is tipped loose. And Richmond ball. Fordham comes up empty on offense. They trail by 5. Back to a man. Here's Tyne. Deep left wing, Neskovich. Corner for White. Tanner moves top of the key, gives it to Walls. Back out to Tyne. Pulls from 3. It rolls out. Rebound is secured by Josh Rivera.
He's got some Tyrese Maxey in him.
That could have been a backbreaker. Johnson, dribble drive, splits 2 defenders and lays it in. Left hand finish by Jackie Johnson. 3-point game. Richmond 61, Fordham 58.
The Rams with their work cut out for them. It's a 1-possession game. Your next clock stoppage is the under 4 media. You have to make it count here.
Corner for Neskovich. The 3. It's good. Neskovich with a dagger. And Richmond will go into the under 4 media timeout with a 6-point lead. Every time the Rams get just a little bit closer, there's an answer from Richmond.
Absolutely. The Spiders know what they're doing. They're playing their game, and they are up 6.
It's a battle between the 14 seed and the 15 seed. It's coming down to the wire, and we'll be right back with you. But first, one more scoreboard update from Madi Dembele.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Last time around the horn, come with me, Madi Dembele, around the sports playground. A-10 play, Mississippi Lively, playing with some twang. 22 Mississippi State, still holding off the number 19 Ole Miss Rebels, 50-42. Seton Hall pirating a win over the Huskies, 69-68. Huskies get snowed in by 1. On the women's side of action, Indiana basketball taking care of their in-state rival Purdue. Sydney Parrish leads the way with 19 points there, 78-56, 18-point big win in the final. Marquee matchup here, 7 UConn going at number 4 South Carolina tomorrow at 1. Tune into that. Dawn Staley must-watch TV. And an NBA All-Star break. Shaq's OGs face off against the Candace Parker Rising Stars. That trails after Kenny's Young Stars take on Chuck's Global Stars, 8-20 and 9-10 respectively. For the one-on-one scoreboard, I am Madi Dembele.
New Orlando, Chaz McAdams. It's Richmond 64, Fordham 58. A 6-point margin of difference here. The final 3:46 left to go from the Robins Center. It's 2 3-win teams in the A-10, only one to get a 4th tonight. When you look at the A-10 schedule, it doesn't matter how you win, especially when you're either Fordham or Richmond. You just need to pile up the wins. And right now it's Richmond that's got the advantage. They've got the momentum after that 3 from Neskovich.
And you know what it is? It's the rebounding battle. The Rams were almost doubling the Richmond Spiders at half. They've only got 7 rebounds since. They're only down 3 rebounds in the rebounding battle of Orlando. That's not a recipe for success. They've got 8 offensive rebounds in the second half. Also, 3-point shooting for the Rams. 3 for 22. Not a recipe for success.
14%. They've taken a lot. They've had a lot of good looks in this half. Open looks from the corner they have not been able to bury. It's Johnson in the deep left wing. It's the logo for Medor. 3.5 to go. Medor right wing. Left wing for Johnson. Contested floater rattles in. I thought that was a heat check by Jackie Johnson, but he makes good.
The heave in the face. In the face of time.
He is a tough bucket maker. Mikel Tyne, he's been that guy tonight. On the post, resets to D'Entremont. Across to White on the right wing. Top of the key, Neskovic guarded by Dean. Rivera switches on. Neskovic enters the paint. Back to the basket. Squares up, fades away off the window. Tough shot by Neskovic, he's got 19. 6-point lead, under 3 to go.
So skilled and poised, Neskovic.
Rivera caught up in the corner, takes a bump from Neskovic. His pass off the legs of Walls. The foul in the corner. That one going against Richmond. That's going against Neskovic.
A late call there.
Rivera did take a tumble. They certainly got physical there in the corner. That will put Rivera to the line. It's the 9th foul, so it's 1-1. Rivera not a guarantee to hit both. A lot of pressure on this first free throw right here.
And one more foul to get to the double bonus. 2:39 left. 6-point lead. The Spiders can't score again if you're the Fordham Rams.
First is good. Nothing but net. Rivera will get a second. Zach Riley checks in. And he'll take out Ramad Dean.
Josh, he struggled at Lafayette, even in high school from the line. His mentality, been talking to him, mentality there is to clear your mind completely and just focus on putting ball in net.
Off the heel in the second, Neskovic grabs the board. 66-61 Richmond, 2:33 to go. Stops are paramount here for Fordham defensively. Tying off the Walls screen, it's Timbila switching on. A mismatch down low with Walls and Johnson. Walls gets it. Kicks out for Neskovic right wing. Drives, blocked by Timbila. Rivera gets it, spins past half court. Corner from Medor, open for 3. Off the backboard, no good. Timbila secures the offensive rebound. Another chance, and Fordham will call a timeout.
It's a clock issue. It's a clock issue, they didn't reset.
Josh Medor. Jaffe Medor from the corner had an open 3. It goes off the very front part of the backboard. Then did it go off the rim?
It didn't touch the rim.
I'm not sure it ever hit the rim. Did they reset the shot clock? You tell me.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. It's still 17
They're
up
going to
there.
take a look at it. It doesn't look like they reset the shot clock, and from my memory, that shot did not hit the rim.
No, it didn't. No,
it went hard off the glass, came back out here, and Timbila got the rebound. The referees will take a second to look at this. There's a big block by Abdou Timbila. You want to talk about the day that Abdou Timbila has had 4 personal fouls, so he's in foul trouble. Only 2 points, 11 rebounds, and now the block, and a massive block when Fordham needs stops and they need to get points back offensively.
Can't stop it here. I think they're looking back. They did reset it. Jaffe still had the ball. The ball was still in hands at 17 seconds, so clearly the shot clock resetting didn't matter. I'm just confused on the stoppage there.
There's a late stoppage too. It would have thought they would have
It would have been when the shot went up. It would have been when the shot went up.
I think everyone's still trying to figure this one out. Trey Woodall trying to get some more time here. They're going to say the shot clock is right. They'll keep it at 17 seconds.
I thought there was going to be more time on the clock after the stoppage.
No time put back on the clock. That one doesn't feel like it went Fordham's way.
That was an interesting call.
High side inbound for Rivera. 2:04 to go. Rams trail by 5. I'd like to get a bucket here. I'll tell you what, they've had a lot of open looks from 3, just have not been able to hit. Johnson on the left wing. Pulls back out after some heavy pressure. Deep left wing 3. No good off the front of the rim. Medor secures the offensive rebound. That was a tough shot by Johnson. Medor drives. Contested floater buried. Jaffe Medor, defender in his face.
And they're going to go offense-defense here. You see Abdul Timbila, Zach Riley at the scorer's table as Keith Urgo calls the timeout. 3-point game.
They only have 1 left with 1:48 to go. Chris Mooney's got 2. 66-63, back to a 1-possession game. Chaz, once again, they need to stop defensively, and you have to think just the way this is going, Fordham's going to need to 3. Need to hit a 3. That's a scary prospect. They have not been sharp from the 3 at all. 3 of 24, 12.5%.
It's got to be a 3 here. Fordham's due for a make.
With that shot, Medor up over 21 points today. 6 rebounds, 8 of 8 from the line. He continues to be excellent down the stretch in A10 play. We'll see if it's enough to pull this one out. Fordham trying to grab a victory from the jaws of defeat. They'll pressure, full court press, 3 players in the forecourt. Bounce pass to Walls, stands at the left side free throw line and shovels it back to White, who crosses half court. Fordham playing man for this possession. Timbila switches on to White. Rivera will switch on to Walls. That's still a mismatch, but a better one. Tyne controls at the half-court line. Tyne, left wing 3, off right iron, bounces up over the backboard and out of bounds. And Fordham will sub once again. Rivera, Timbila out. Dean and Tripp in. 1:22 to go. Rams trail by 3. They'll have a chance to tie on this possession.
The stoppages here. See the offense, defense. You like Jameer Tripp in. Guarding the 5. You should look for a Jackie Johnson or a Jaffe Medor 3. Drive and kick, maybe a Romad Dean look. All 5 of these guys on the court can shoot the long ball.
Screen from Tripp. Medor, top of the key. Drives. Fades away. It's short. Tripp gets the offensive rebound. Throws it wildly back up. It's no good, but Dean gets the offensive rebound. A 3rd chance. Tripp underneath the basket. Tough shot. Won't go. Drew the foul.
And now, so he's going to the line. With that foul, it's double bonus. Everyone's shooting 2 free throws no matter what.
Wouldn't have mattered here with the shooting foul, but that's big down the stretch.
Exactly.
If there's any reach-in fouls, anything on the floor, Fordham gets 2. Richmond not even in the bonus yet.
So you get a stop. So makes both these here. Down 1. Get a stop. Score again. Up 1. Then you're looking at 1-on-1. They're going to foul every time. You have to maintain excellence. Coach Urgo going for the offense, defense. Zach Riley and Abdul Timbila in.
Tripp missed both at the line last time. He's got 2 big ones coming up. First one rolls out. Fordham trailing by 3. You'd love to get anything at the line right here.
Can't come back empty.
And his 3 straight missed free throws by Jameer Tripp. And this crowd's going to give it to him once again. 58.9 seconds left. He misses again. And the rebound by Richmond. Another empty trip from the line. Fordham could not afford to have that. 66-63, final 50 seconds. White off a screen, down to the block. Back out to Tanner. To Walls, left elbow extended. Clock down to 40. Tanner drives baseline, kicks back out Walls. 7 on the shot clock. Walls back to the basket, deep short corner, works on Timbila, fades away. It's no good. Rebound secured by Abdu Timbila. Fordham has one timeout. The shot clock's off. They don't call timeout just yet. Mador, right wing. Spins into the lane, kicks out for Johnson. Johnson drives, Higgs, blocked by Walls. And the rebound by Tyne. Fordham needs a foul. They get it with 6 seconds left. Chaz, they never got a good look on that possession.
The Johnson floater there, not the look you wanted. Sideline, they got one more to the bonus. They're not shooting free throws yet.
(66-63) Rams, a 3-point hole. 6.7 seconds left. The next Fordham foul puts Richmond in the bonus. And Richmond, the best free throw shooting team in the A-10, 12th in the nation. Tanner, high side inbound, finds Neskovich. Dean will foul. Neskovich, their team's best free throw shooter at 87.1%. That inbound was by design.
That's the guy you want at the line. He's been everything this season so far. Maybe not this game, but hey, he himself with 19 points. Only 2 fouls. Not a lot of Spiders in real foul trouble here. A make here, all but ends it.
Richmond's going to take a timeout. Here's the thing, right? If he hits anything here, Fordham's going to have to move quickly. You have to get you only have one timeout, so it's where do you use it? Do you use the timeout right away, get into the half-court set, pull a quick 3, and then try and foul? Either way, odds are not on your side, and the reality is you needed free throws there from Jameer Tripp. Really on his last 2 trips, he goes 0 for 4. You needed at least 2 of those.
And he's beside himself right now. You can tell Tripp, a guy that's very hard on himself, holds himself to a very high standard.
This has been a tough season for the Fordham Rams. An 0-6 start in A-10 play. Sit 14th in the A-10, and they are facing a defeat to the hands of the only team that was below them in the A-10, unless they pull out a miracle here. This is going to be a gut punch and perhaps ensure that the Rams will play on day 1 of the A-10 tournament.
Out of the double bye, just looking to get that single. Play on Thursday rather than Wednesday. Neskovich on the line, so reliable. Best free throw shooter on the Spiders.
He makes it. It's a 4-point game. You have a chance to add one more. If you're Ergo, do you take the timeout after this free throw, or do you save it? You take it here?
Take it. Play to the buzzer.
Neskovich makes the second.
They want to advance the ball, get the timeout on their own half.
There's 5.6 seconds left. They're going to have to do this awfully quick. Zach Riley is the trigger man underneath the basket. It's up to Mador. 5, 4. Takes the right wing 3 and buries with 0.8. And they call the timeout.
Great
A
make.
sliver of hope. Fordham couldn't buy a 3 all game long. They get one off the rush from Jaffe Mador.
He steps up in big moments like this.
24 points from Mador. You have virtually no time left. 0.8 on the clock, and Fordham doesn't have a timeout.
That shot gives me shades of being back in Scarsdale versus Manhattan. The Jaspers, Fordham down big, almost double digits.
I think they're going to add 0.3 to the clock, so it'll be 1-1. That's a little bit better for the Rams. But between the fact that you need to foul immediately, then you need to hope for a miss, and you have to get something going off the rush, it's still going to be very tricky for Fordham here, but at the very least, a sliver of hope, and that's because Jaffe Medor hit a big-time three.
I think you go small ball here so your guys can chase. You know, you're not really worried about a post presence, so you can go Rivera even trip on walls. You just need to foul or intercept the pass.
You wonder if there's going to be a heavy push here. They're down 2. If you can get an interception underneath the basket and lay it in. Now the only thing is, Richmond obviously knows what's at stake here. And you have to think this inbound is going nowhere near the paint.
Or they're trying to play it safe and play the free throw game. You throw a ball up in the air, Darrell Rivas can go up and grab it. And we got Darrell Rivas on the Fordham Rams, and that's Romad Dean.
5 for the Rams. Josh Rivera, Jackie Johnson, Zach Riley, Jaffe Medor, Romad Dean. So only 2 forwards. 5 for Richmond. Roach, Eskovich, White, Tanner, and McEltine.
It's a free throw team.
Tanner going to be the trigger man. Rivera will have hands in the face on the inbound. Everyone lined up with a man. Fordham's going to need to foul immediately. There's 1.1 on the clock. Rams trail by 2. Quick inbound to Roche, still out of bounds. And they're going to call a timeout. Very close to 5 seconds there. They ran the football play. Jason Roach ran out of bounds, received the pass along the baseline, which you are allowed to do. But it seemed to confuse both Richmond and Fordham.
2 controversial officiating moments I'm going to say there. I'll call it, I don't know if he got it in before the 5 seconds.
I agree.
I don't know if he got it in before the 5 seconds. It was close. And also, that push there, right at the baseline, where Dean falls. The forearm right there, I don't know how you don't call that off ball. Again, we saw the same thing against St. Bonaventure, where Jaffe Medor gets elbowed by Melvin Council. It seems that referees, and I can understand and sympathize, are afraid to make a controversial call when the game seemed to be over.
Especially before the ball even gets inbounded. You know, that's a massive swing.
Because those are subjective calls as it remains, and controversial calls, mind you, when it's up 20, down 20, before the under 16 media in the first half. Those get scrutinized to no end. So you're afraid to make a call like that with the game on the line. You have to be accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable.
We'll run it back again. Richmond 68, Fordham 66. 1.1 left from the Robbins Center. Neither team has a timeout.
Steve McJunkins, Chase Shaw, Tim Smith, the officiating crew. All excellent officials that have gone to this highest level. You have to be able to watch. I don't know about the 5 seconds. I don't have a clock on me. I don't know about the push right in front of the ball.
They've switched Roach out for D'Entremont. And he'll be the trigger man on this baseline. And we'll see if they run up something similar to what they did the last time. Rivera's going to have hands in the face once again. D'Entremont running the baseline. Not a lot of openings. Into the paint for Neskovich, fouled. 0.9 left. And that went about as well as it could go for Fordham. With the only downside being they got into the hands of Neskovich, their best free throw shooter, and a chance to ice the game.
And that's just great X's and O's there by Chris Mooney. You know he was going. You know where you want the ball going. Communication is key here. 1 and 1.
They're going to say 0.8 on the clock as they take another 1/10 of a second off. Neither team has a timeout.
It's a miss and a full court heave.
This will still be a 1 and 1. Neskovich bends the knees. Makes the first. It's a 3-point game, and this next one can clinch it. Entered play, an 87.1% shooter from the line, the best on Richmond. He has a chance to give them their 4th A-10 win of the season. The bend, the shot, it rattles in. 70-66. Riley throws it the length of the court. It's intercepted, and that's the ball game. Fordham falls to Richmond. And Fordham now dead last in the A-10. And that's going to be a loss. That's going to sting. Fordham thought to have been turning the corner for a second here, but they come up short. 70-66, the final score. Led by 23 points from Dusan Neskovic, and a fantastic game from Mikkel Tyne, who went off for 19 points. Jaffe Mador's 24 points were not enough to overcome a strong second-half barrage from Richmond.
The play from Richmond was fantastic. They put a lot of points on the board. They've lost a lot of close games this year, so it must feel good to win a close one.
Richmond improves to 4-9 in A-10 play and 9-17 on the year. That brings them into the mix with LaSalle, who fell earlier today to Rhode Island. That gives them a chance to work back into things. For Fordham, it's a much different story. We're joined by Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall. Coach, you got us?
Yep, you gave me.
Coach, obviously that one comes down to the wire. Thoughts on the final 4 minutes, the push at the end?
I just think in the second half, I mean, you got to give them a ton of credit, obviously. They run their stuff for full 40 minutes, right? We tried to pressure them, take them out of some of their offense. Worked for us in the first half. I think in the second half we got a little stagnant. And they did a good job because they started setting high ball screens and letting the guards downhill. And they made some shots. We tried to take away the threes, but they stuck with it, and we wasn't able to prevail at the end of the day.
Obviously, Neskovic having to step into that guy role as Richmond's star player injured. Can you just speak to the scout for him and what you saw from him today?
I mean, it wasn't just today. I mean, we played against him when he was at Dartmouth. We knew he was a tough player. He played well against us the first time, so I'm sure it gave him a ton of confidence. But, you know, he played great in the second half, right? He was slow in the first half, but I just think overall we just didn't do a great job. But we'll go back to the drawing boards, and again, our goal at the end of the day is still to be the best team we could be by the end of the year, right? We're talking about a 2-possession game here, and we saw some good things, a lot of good things, but there's a lot of things we just got to clean up, especially defensively in the second half, man. 56% in the second half is just too much. 40-something for a game. We say our goal is to be under 40, and it's just too much at this point.
Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall. Trey, thanks for the time.
Yep,
appreciate it. We wrap things up here from the Robbins Center. Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams. Chaz, we've already said it in as many words, but you know this one is going to sting, and that's going to be a damper and any dreams of Fordham digging themselves out of the bottom of the A-10. You don't have the tiebreaker against Richmond. That's a team you very well could be tied with at the end of the season. The bottom 6 of the A-10 play Wednesday. That would mean you would have to be the 9 seed to skip playing on Wednesday. As it stands right now with Fordham at 3-9 in A-10 play and just 7 games left, I'm just not sure how feasible that is.
Worrying about seeding isn't the conversation in the locker room right now. It's worrying about improving. So when you get to Wednesday, when you get the opportunity, no matter who your opponent is, you go out there and be ready to shock the world. I think the Rams were hoping that this one proved that they're better than their record, and they did not go out and do that today.
It is the 7th straight win for the Richmond Spiders over the Fordham Rams. They are 21-1 against the Rams since 2008. It has been domination by one of the elite programs in the A-10. And while Richmond may not be elite this season, they're looking to get back and end this season on a high note. They get a 4-point win over the Fordham Rams today. Well, next up for Fordham, they go on the road and take on Duquesne. That's a Duquesne team that's looking for revenge after Fordham beat them at home. That's not going to be an easy one. You look at the next 3. Duquesne, Davidson, George Mason. Whew, Fordham has their work cut out for them.
Definitely. And then you end with URI, who Fordham beat by a game-winning tip-in. So if you want to talk about winning by the skin of your teeth and getting out of there in time, Fordham did that. I don't know if when they travel up to Kingston, they'll be just as lucky. But the Rams, again, the conversation just has to be, don't worry about the seeding, don't worry about our opponent, only worry about the 15 guys in that locker room that can affect the change.
A game-high 24 points from Jaffe Medor, not enough for a Ram win. Richmond holds on, a 70-66 win. Richmond improves to 9-17 and 4-9 in A-10 play. Fordham falls to 11-14 and 3-9 in A-10 play. We'll wrap things up here for my analyst, Chaz McAdams. I'm Lou Orlando. We'll send it back to the studio. Brendan Shorey, Monty Dembele, the one-on-one post-game report, signing off from Virginia.
The one-on-one post-game report.
And welcome into the Rose Hill studio. Brendan Shorey here with Monty Dembele, and we are here to recap the pillow fight, as Lou likes to say. One could say the toilet bowl. The game between the lowest two teams in the A-10. Richmond ended up taking this one 70-66, and they have now won 21 of the last 22 against Fordham. Marty, a great second half, a exciting second half we had, especially if you are a Richmond fan. The story of this one, I think, really comes down to those two trips to the line from Jameer Tripp, where he went 0-4.
Yeah. And again, it's, first off, a little fun fact here, 21-1 since 2008, as Lou Orlando just said on the broadcast there. So Richmond, routine clockwork for them around the Fordham Rams in their home court. You talk about the free throw line discrepancy. I don't know how much you practice your shots, you get them up, miss or make. But at a certain point, because it's been a huge discrepancy, like I could take you back to the time against Tulane with Fordham didn't shoot well at that. Like I remember ever so often, it's been a big thing for the Fordham Rams. They're not able to get it going from the line, right? Like at a certain point, it has to be a larger conversation. It's much more than miss or make. It has to be a larger conversation there. You want to talk about what really turned this game around? Neskovic, right? 6 points in the first half, among the team leaders in scoring. I think he was tied with Tanner, I believe it was. But then he just took off in the second half. 17, ripped it off, 17 points there. Finishes the game with 23. I talked about Ramad Dean being the biggest X factor, but Abdou Simbila, we have to look at the bigs there. I mean, you come up, you lose by 4, but I don't like the fashion in which you did, particularly because we talked about if Fordham just does what they do. I said in the first half, they don't necessarily need to put pedal to the metal, but you need to remain and hold strong on what your general philosophies are. Excuse me, they lost it on the boards.
They did, and you can see between the difference between the first half and the second half, where we said at halftime, we looked at the offensive rebounds, especially, but the rebounds as a whole, where Fordham had Richmond beat, and it was a completely different story in the second half, where Richmond, did they out-rebound Fordham? Yes, 18-15. Was it close? Yeah. But we mentioned the importance of the rebound battle at halftime and how instrumental that would be to be able to come out on top. And it feels like Richmond hurt us more than Fordham did.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly what you want to see coming into a second half where you already needed a big performance. You needed someone to step up. The rebound battle was supposed to be kind of a secondary aspect that you already had. Like, we can go win this rebound battle. I would like to point out in the second half, if you look at the stat sheet, a lot of those stats that on the Fordham side, you would think Fordham won. You look at 12 fast break points to 0 for Richmond in the second half. You look at turning the ball over 1 time in the second half for Fordham, 7 points off of turnovers, 4 steals, 2 blocks. It looks like they played a very complete game in the second half. And then you get to the shooting. And 12 of 30 from the field, 3 of 14 from 3, which is 21%, isn't going to cut it.
I actually like that diagnosis because I always find it interesting that because I always feel a team can always win as long as they're relying on their best punches. Do what you know. But from what you're saying, it's almost like their best punch simply isn't good enough. Like you could do everything that Fordham is accustomed to doing, the rebounding, the steals, the defense, the whole thing, getting out in fast break. Again, look, they're wiping them out in some categories. 16 fast break points. The Spiders didn't get out at all. They have 0, right? Fordham 3 blocks to 2. So you're doing everything that you're used to, but still it's just not good. Like your best punch, it's not that strong.
It all comes down to making shots. At the end of the day, you can play a great game in every other aspect.
Yeah.
But you can't score if you're not putting the ball through the hoop.
Yeah.
And that's what it really comes down to. That's what we saw. I mean, we saw Jaffe Mador go out and score.
24.
20 of those coming in the second half. 8 of 8 from the line.
Momentum carried.
5-11 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. Jaffe Mador went out and played, and he played his best ball scoring-wise and just trying to bring this Fordham team back into the game with, when you talk in terms of momentum or, I mean, scoring-wise, yeah, but there was not a whole lot of production all around from Fordham in the second half.
No, Joshua Rivera, first half 6 points. Second half he adds, I believe, 7, so he's 13 for the day. You have guys like Ramadine. I mean, he was my pick, 3 points. I know he was dealing with that injury there, but Jackie Johnson, another like 15, pedestrian. Very, very good, but we know what Jackie Johnson could do. They're not able to put it together. Strength in numbers is usually a testament to good, strong, deep basketball attacks with a second guy off the bench could kill you, and Fordham didn't play with that mentality.
And Lou and Chaz mentioned it before the game. It's the 1-2 punch with Jackie Johnson and Jaffe Mador.
Yeah.
And they came out and they played a solid game, but at that point at halftime, when you're going into the locker room and making some adjustments, you really need them to step up and play Superman in the second half almost.
But that's why I feel like that's why they feel so comfortable taking the shots in the first half. Like, we talk about how maybe they need to take a step back, but they understand that they're going to have to play a full game. Again, they were playing 37 minutes in that first half up to our show in the halftime, right? So they knew that this is eventually, like most games, it's probably going to have to come down to them. But it's like the load is, I don't know if it's too large. I don't know if it's just an attrition game, the fatigue. But if you're looking at two guys throughout the course of your season, your backcourt guys, some of your smallest guys, to carry the offensive load to the tune of 24 points. Like Jackie Johnson usually shows up, again, I said pedestrian game, but he's usually getting 22, 24. Jaffe does it. Then there has to be a larger conversation.
And yeah, I mean, you usually do see with this Fordham team, you'll see 3 or 4 guys in double-digit scoring.
Yeah.
Tonight, you had 3, but it was a barely have 3.
You were right there. I mean, like, again, it was so close in the first half, 26-27. You were doing what you needed to do, and again, it seemed like you weren't coming together as a full basketball product. You just needed one more guy to show that he was live in this game, and that didn't happen.
And it to me, and I know we've mentioned it, but it will come down to the free throw shooting and the 3-point shooting throughout the game, 16% from the line. When you're a team who takes as many threes as we've seen Fordham does throughout the season, especially tonight taking 25 threes, if you're only going to make 4 of them, you can't really expect, despite being able to hold Richmond to 22% from 3 and under 50% from the field, when you're only making sub 40% of your shots from the field, sub 20% from 3, you can't really expect to do much against. I mean, we take Richmond tonight, but take any team you come up against in the A-10 tournament.
Exactly. I mean, like, Fordham did a better job in the second half getting their shot. Again, something Coach Ergo has stressed, good shots to great shots. They did a better job doing that, moving the basketball around more. You saw less of the stagnant isolation. But the ball going in is so 50-50. I understand so 50-50. Sometimes the rim just seems to be so small for you. But when you're putting up 25 threes and you're getting, like, nothing, 4 of 25 from 3, like, there has to be a conversation. Like, there has – I don't even know where you go from this point, because it's like you're doing everything right, but it's just not there.
So, Marty, looking at this game and looking at this Fordham performance up to this point in the season, and knowing that this A-10 tournament is right around the corner, what do you want to see from this Fordham team going into the tournament to try and cause some chaos?
Here's an interesting philosophy. Don't look at the numbers. Forget about the philosophies. Forget about all of that. Just play basketball. I think there's a certain standard in which you try to uphold within yourself when you look at your percentage and you see that you're shooting sub whatever, or you're shooting this percentage or that percentage. I wouldn't even worry about turnovers because I can always flip it. It's almost like reverse psychology, right? Coaches tend to stress turnovers. Well, we're a free-moving basketball team. We like to get the ball moving around. If we turn the ball over, then so be it. But we're going to make sure everybody gets a touch before a shot goes up. That's something that you could look at it. It's, as opposed to the numbers that may suggest that the glass is half empty. Try to look at it as a pursuit and trying to get it full, if that makes sense. Don't look at the numbers. Just look. Don't give so much credence to the numbers, if that makes sense.
Make it more about the game, not about the stats.
Not about the stats. Just play basketball. Play basketball. The rest will follow. Yeah.
I love that. Well, that is unfortunately going to do it from us here in the Rose Hill studio. Fordham dropped this one. Richmond 70, Fordham 66. Kurt Sipple was working the board today. Lou Orlando and Chaz McAdams were on the call. For Madi Dembele, I'm Brendan Shorey saying so long. See you next game. Fordham Basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.
It's not a second, we're 7 seconds.